everyone! How are you? This is TOPT Podcast! Where we talk One Piece! Woo! What's good? My name is Larry.
Lawrence.
Sam.
And Lionel. This is where we talk One Piece. What's good, everybody? How are you doing? Hello. Lionel has an empty chair, but Lionel is going to be here. So thank you all for coming. Episode 210, I believe. What's up? 210 in a building. Jesus, what a chapter it was. This is going to be an extremely great chapter to discuss. I can't wait to do so. But before we do that, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's joined us today. How sweet you are in order to be here with us. Who told you could come here? I didn't. No, I
didn't. Saying that as Lionel arrives is crazy.
I know. Yo, so Marv ended up watching the podcast from the beginning. He said he needed something to listen to, and he wanted to like see where we were like during that time, and he said that you had something to do episode 2, so you didn't show up.
Yeah.
So you just didn't show up. You started episode 2.
He quit episode 2.
He quit.
You quit episode 2?
Yeah, because it was just the three of us for a little bit there.
Yeah.
For a good amount. Yeah.
You had a guest cover him one day.
Yeah, I think we had Straw Hat Dash come through early.
No.
Was it that?
No. He was in episode 2 though.
Okay.
You don't deserve to be. Yo. Also, Lawrence, I got you. I just forgot to give you what I was supposed to give you, but it's basically you could just open it up. Do you see what it says on top of it?
Now I do. I can't.
It says Don Quixote do Flamingo.
Let's go.
You know how to open a
They
glass?
fold in?
Do you not
or did
know
I break the case?
But you don't know how to open glasses?
You don't know how to open a glass?
Because look. Is it?
Did you push it in?
Come on, man.
See,
Yeah,
I'm thinking
bro.
they come out, you know.
Yeah, bro.
You're not helping with the dumb brute.
Yeah,
I am not
You gotta show up.
Most cases, you gotta slide. Box like this, you gotta slide out, and there's a case on top.
I don't think you wear enough glasses to know that.
Oh, shoot.
So,
Okay.
what are the chances of you putting them on?
I'll put them on right now.
Yeah?
Yo,
Marv, you gotta switch the camera.
Yeah, word. Switch the camera, Marv. Switch the camera. I don't want
This is so funny.
I don't want them to see my Loki eyes.
Spoiler, bro. No, I'm
This
joking.
is wild, bro. I'm like looking at it through the camera to see what y'all would have seen.
It's so funny. He's not taking a chance with Marv switching.
He's hiding his face too. Still.
Can you see it? Can you see through it?
I feel like you can still see my eyes.
Nah, we can't see your eyes at all.
It look kind of crazy though.
You do look kind of
I look extra evil.
Nah, that looks wild.
Yeah, bro.
Those are sick.
Yeah. Hold on. Do you got the... No, you don't have any stickers on them. All right. So, listen, guys. If you haven't liked the video already yet, please like the stream. It does wonders for us. For those that are going to see ads and I didn't catch them in order to, like, take them out, YouTube just does it by itself, so don't get mad at me. All right? I'll fix it when I have the time. Also, if you guys are sending us anything through the P.O. box, thank you so much, because we did have somebody send us something.
Yeah.
So, Seb, you want to
Yeah.
do that? But we're going to get into the chapter, though, guys, so
Big
behave.
box. Yeah, we got a gift from...
Yo, your thighs are out, bro.
It's Hoochie Daddy season.
Yo, bro.
He said,
No, your thighs are out.
It's Hoochie Daddy season, bro. But yeah, we
You
got
need help?
a gift from our P.O. box from J-Man, a.k.a.
ASMR right now, bro. What kind of tape was he using?
I don't know, bro. This is from Japan, I think.
There's cats on the boxes. Imagine a bunch of kittens
If
just
it's
come out.
kittens, I'ma die, bro.
What if it was a bomb?
Okay.
Damn.
Okay.
Wow.
Come on, Lionel, bro. Lionel, bro. Come on, bro.
Yes.
Bro, what?
That was
Why
the
would
most
you say
American
that?
thing you've ever said.
Why
in your
would you
life.
say that, bro?
Episode 2.
There's no I ain't dying.
Oh, yeah. Yo, word, yo.
Yeah. Shout out to y'all, bro. Is I have to read this? That it was said?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. J-Man, I hope you watching. All right.
Hold on. I'll read it. Give us a second.
Is it a letter?
Yeah, it's a letter. Imagine it's like, baby girl.
It's not a letter, is it?
Shipment. Is it shipment information?
I see the Marine sign on the bottom. And
What
the
does it
government.
say? Is it Japanese? It's not in Japanese, is it?
This dude sent a W-2 form.
No. Yo, what? There's no way.
It says
There's no way.
employee's social security number in section A. 1 billion berries topped. Employer identification number. 127,468 subscribers.
Oh my god.
Section C, employer's name. Medi Joa, top of the red line, quotations, post up, and then it's just Larry.
Oh my god.
So,
Let's go.
Sections 1 through 10 says 0 berries. So there's no Medicare, there's no federal income, there's no social security tips, no wages, no compensation.
Yo.
Section 13, you get to fill out either be a Marine, pirate, or slave.
Why is this slave?
You only get 3
Yo,
options.
that's
Either
so
way, you're gonna
good.
serve.
Section 14, for other, it says, I don't know, got nothing better to do. It says in section E, employer's first name and initial is just JN, last name Japan, but it says also I'm Madi Joa, but not by choice. And then it says state wages, tips, etc. too much. State income tax way too much. Local wages, tips, maybe some trap money from YB Trent. And it has the, I don't know if you can see, it's the world government logo.
That's crazy.
This is so good.
It says for Larry Top or Celestial Dragons. Department of Busting It Open. Yo,
Department of Busting It Open.
yeah, bro. This is getting
Oh,
framed.
No way. That's so
This is getting
good.
framed for sure.
Jay in Japan, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
That's
All right, so
great.
we got a couple things.
He
So-
said each one is for a specific one of us. I don't know which is which. So
We'll probably
figure that out
know.
later.
Speaking to the mic a little bit, though.
Yeah, we'll probably figure that out later. But he did say that each one is for a specific one of us.
Okay, Marvel, clean this up. You know.
Yeah,
All right. I think I could probably tell whose is whose.
maybe.
Okay, so it sucks that Jay's not here. So we have a Going Merry
Ooh.
ship. Don't know who that's for. I'm probably gonna say Marv. Let's see. Let's see the others.
I'm assuming that's the Sunny. Yeah.
This is the Sunny.
Hey.
Sunny gifts. Okay. I thought it was food. I'm not gonna
That
lie.
kind of like a cookie.
It
Yeah.
looks like the Yuki buns, where they look
Yeah.
like fish and they have custards
Oh,
in them.
yeah.
Okay. Then we have
Ooh.
a devil fruit
That's
that
the-
lights up.
Is that a go? No.
I think it's the Gomu Gomu.
Yeah,
It looks like the Gomu Gomu, right?
Well, the Nika
Yeah.
Nika fruit now.
Oh, yeah.
This one lights up. This is really cool, actually. I like that one.
You want to keep that one?
What are those?
It's a mug, I think.
Oh, then he gave us violet.
Hey.
We know this is
Hey.
mine.
Yeah,
You know this is mine. Bro. There's no way that you guys don't think this is mine.
No, that's not it.
This is
It's
definitely
probably
mine.
yours, but
Yeah.
dibs.
We gotta ask.
He said,
No, you're definitely not getting that one. Okay, but we do have a couple.
There's a couple
more
other
things.
ones, yeah.
Yo, Lawrence, you want to open this? We could put this. Is there anything else?
Not to break anything.
Yeah, don't break anything, y'all. Okay.
Okay.
What's
I think
that?
they're mugs.
It's a mug for Whitebeard.
Okay.
Oh, you gotta
Whitebeard
show
mug?
it. Show it. Whitebeard mug.
If you see it.
Oh, snap. This is a Zoro mug doing Shishi
Song.
song.
Oh, it's cutting it in half too.
Yeah.
I've seen that on
That's pretty
IG.
good.
That's
Can
pretty
you
dope.
guys see?
Oh yeah, because his has the cracks. He has the crank.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's super cool.
Okay. Oh, he's slicing. The,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually.
He's
dope.
slicing the cup. I don't know if y'all can see it.
That's what
And then the final gift is another cup, and this one is Zoro and Sanji. on the mug, and then there's King on the other mug.
King and Queen on the other
King
mug.
and Queen on the other mug.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, these are dope.
Yeah, these are
Thank
dope.
you so much, Jay. from
Appreciate
Japan.
you. Thank you,
Yeah,
bro.
Jay in Japan, man. Thank you.
Yeah, you gotta let us know which one's Marv's and which
Yeah.
one's ours. Like, you'll hit him up, right?
Yeah, I hit him up on Discord, so he'll let me know. Sorry I didn't get it back to you in time. I just remembered on my way here to come grab these.
Yeah.
So
No, that's really,
Yeah.
really sweet. Thank you so much, Jay
Yeah.
from Japan, bro.
Yeah, man.
And we've talked to you before, so we talked to you through Discord. So thank you
I
so
want
much.
that Viola one.
Nah, bro, you're not. I'm fighting,
get
bro.
that, bro.
This is how war started.
I get the
Because of women. No,
Yo, speaking of which, hold up, yo.
what happened?
Where my Luffy at, bro?
It's in the car.
All right.
Yeah.
Thought you forgot it again. It's
Nah,
gonna
bro.
melt, man.
No, it's not. All right, but if you haven't liked the video yet, please like the video, everybody. Thank you so much. We are going to say what's up to the chat. After we say what's up to the chat, we'll do some super chats for like 10 minutes. And then we are going to go into the chapter. So if this is your first time being here, every time we do super chats, we do the chapter, and then we do the super chats, and then we do the chapter. Okay, so if we haven't read your super chats, first and foremost, thank you so much for super chatting. But we will get to them, so please try to be patient. This is a podcast, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to be talking amongst each other. But after that, we promise to read every single super chat. And if we don't, please hit us up in the live chat to let us know that we missed your super chat. All right, but if you ain't paying attention and we read your super chat, best believe we're gonna get on you. All right, so thank you so much to Apple and Spotify listeners as well. But other than that, Seb, let's say what's up to the chat and then read some super chats.
Yeah, I see a bunch of people in here. Hit that like button if you haven't already. There's only 400 people in here, but only 154 likes. Hit the like button. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, I see Mega Mitsu, Dr. Umar's Burner, Hero of One Time, Riasat Chowdhury, Snoopy 47 Full, King Wanze, Christian the Debater, Haney, Straw Hat Soul King, RIP Squad World, Roy Stokes, The Hunt. It's hard to read it the way this is. Antonio Freeman, Jerk Chicken, Tyler, Evan Bridgeford, Smooth Weeb, Courtney Marie, what up, Courtney? Omni, Fire Punch HD, JM Talbot, Mandy Tells, just so many of y'all in here, man. We really appreciate everybody being here. We did get a bunch of super chats that are sitting, and we got a bunch of gifted memberships handed out to start the day.
Oh my gosh.
We got 100 gifted memberships from Christian Reese.
What?
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Those are still
100?
coming in. Yeah, man, 100.
Wow.
Christian who?
Christian Reese 4241.
Christian Reese, yo, first and foremost, thank you so much. That is insane.
Wow.
100 gifted memberships. Yo,
Thank you,
you
bro.
want me to do a backflip? I don't think I can do it, but I could
Honestly,
try it,
don't
bro.
do that.
Yeah, bro. Yo,
Thank you.
honestly,
Thank
that is a lot of gifted
Yeah.
memberships. Yo, everybody in chat right now, please say thank you to
Yeah.
Christian.
Yeah.
Throw up the Nakama sign because you have now become a member. Just show him a lot of thanks. That is a lot of community giving. Damn, bro. Thank you for being here. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Don't know what else to say.
Yeah, seriously.
Sometimes you get flabbergasted by
It
stuff like
still
that.
astounds me that we get that, and it astounds me that this one is so consistent. We got another 50 gifted from Roy Stokes.
Wow.
Yeah, yo, Roy.
Hey.
Okay. See, I know Roy. Yo. He gonna start competing.
Yeah.
Roy, chill out. You do a lot already every week. We appreciate you, big dog. Believe me, you still big dog. All right? Yeah, don't let nobody outshine you, but like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, I expect to see a lot of new emojis popping up.
Yes,
in this
please.
stream,
We
so,
want to
man.
see a lot of emojis from you guys right now. Just spam whatever emojis you like, just to show appreciation to these two guys.
Yeah, and before those gifted memberships popped in, we did get a couple new members.
Yeah,
in
just shout them out.
Chris Masoon, I think. I'm sorry. Max Rose, Michi was here, Chris, and London Yambolo. So welcome to all
Yes,
the
welcome,
new
guys.
Nakamas.
Yeah, y'all should have waited.
Yeah.
Yo, y'all should have waited. Roy and Christian going crazy.
Couple
You should have
minutes.
waited, bro. I bet they like, yo.
Sometimes you don't have the the accepting gifts on. So if
That
you
is
guys
true.
don't have those on, you won't be able to accept the gifts from people who send them out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how to do it, but make sure you have those. But thank you guys for welcome. So enjoy all the emojis that come with being an Akama. We did get another 5 from Wise Life Gaming. It says, "What's up, my bald brothers? Who is more likely to be a conqueror, Sonic or Mario? Who else in those universes would have it? Hashtag Loki aim for the bushes. Hashtag Ida the one." Oh man.
To be a conqueror, Sonic or Mario? I'd say both.
I was gonna say same thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I can distinguish between the two as far as who would be more likely.
Their personalities, though. I don't know. Qualities wise. Yeah.
They both about it, bro.
Yeah.
Like for real. They gonna do it. They gonna make it happen.
I guess I don't know them like that. So I can't.
I'm trying to think of the. So I gotta just clarify this for the story for Mario, because I know it's obviously Mario's biggest enemy or. Think so? Why?
They almost seen his eyes.
I don't know. I don't even know how to wear these. I will say. I'm gonna be honest. But anyway,
Look this way. Look the way you look. Damn. Look the way you looking, so they don't see the side of your eyes. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they can probably see the side. That's
Yeah.
why.
Should I put
Because it
them
does stretch
closer?
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
put them closer. Why are they so far?
because I don't know how to wear these.
Can you see when it's closer?
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, my bad. Finish your point.
You had your glasses on like a grandma. Like, why are they all the way at the tip of your nose?
Because they're smaller than the ones I'm used to, so I didn't know if I should have them.
Nah,
further
you're
away.
good.
All right. Let's go back. Was Mario ever scared of Bowser? Like, obviously, like he's
No.
trying to save reason. He was never like. That
Depending
wasn't
on the game, there's been cutscenes and stuff where they like freak out at things. But like he's gonna go challenge Bowser every time now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I to me, Sonic wasn't scared of anything. He just really confident in his speed.
If I had to choose one, I would have said Sonic.
I would say it's Sonic.
Yeah.
He
He
could-
be
he could-
getting them rings, man.
No, he controlled the Chaos Emeralds.
Yeah.
That's conquerors right there.
Yeah.
Because that's like, it's like having. I know this is a Marvel reference, but like they said that if you were to obtain Galactus's power as a human being, you'd go insane. Because it's just too much power, and I feel like that's the same thing with Sonic. Sonic has he received too much power and was able to control it. And like in Marvel, the person that received Galactus's power and almost went insane, and he knew he almost went insane, but he controlled it a bit, was Doctor Doom.
Okay.
Yeah. That was during not Crisis. No, it was like
Secret Wars.
Secret Wars, the first Secret Wars. Yeah, thanks, Mark.
Is it weird to say though? In the One Piece world, we haven't seen one like if we're gonna use mink for example or animal that has conquerors though.
You're not helping.
I'm just saying what? My case probably not. In my case probably not. But I'm going with Oda Road. All right.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just saying.
That was also very animal racist.
That's not
Like you're already on the chopping block
Yo.
for why people think that you would fight animals,
Bro,
and you're proving them right.
did you read the next super chat?
no.
All right, we got another 16 from. I feel like they're doing the names off because this is definitely Hunchin' the Hose. I don't know why the name is not correct. Anyway, from Hunchin', it says, "Shout out to Oda for giving Law a new op." Hashtag Hunchin' the Hose, referring to
'Cause
the
the
horse,
eight-legged horse.
that we see in the chat.
I can't.
Yo, we're gonna do 5 more minutes of this.
We got another 5 from Riasat. It says, "Larry graduated from TOPT University. Teach me how to have a glow down like you, Larry-san." Damn.
Damn,
Shots fired.
feelings are hurt.
Why did he say that? What the heck?
I don't know. We got another 2 months at Nakama status from Sandy Woo. It says, "Loki's hammer has dark Nika fruit. Luffy has the white one."
I don't like that.
I prefer Loki to have some sort of fruit himself. We got another 5 from Doug Missy. It says, "Larry, who's worse parent, Usopp's mom or Loki's mom? This is how Law expect his kid to get in." Hashtag Marv go. Hashtag
That
horse
is
puncher
horrible.
Law. Hashtag CD Larry. Hashtag caller kid Law. I don't know what it says. Call kid Law. Hashtag but what of his heart.
It's definitely Loki's mom.
And one of his heart.
Yeah, Loki's mom is rough,
Loki,
man.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, bro.
We'll talk about it. Another 2 from Jerk Chicken 29. It says, crazy how Law is fighting animals in the new intro. Are you?
Was he?
Yeah.
Larry set me up. That's crazy.
He's fighting
the human
Oh my gosh.
trails.
I didn't even realize that until now. Larry set me up.
Yo.
Larry set me up.
Yo. But Larry
was
said
before the joke.
No, but hold on. Larry sent this to us, and your reaction was, "That's fire."
Yeah, you
All
approved
that.
it.
You stamped that.
Not.
You stamped that, bro. Larry gave the whole. This is gonna be the rundown, the play-by-play, and you was like, "Yeah, that's lit."
Yeah.
He didn't say. I don't remember him saying I was gonna be
It's
fighting
gonna
this.
I said,
chat,
yo,
bro.
you'd be fighting the human drills. That's the same thing that Zoro fought.
I remember when Larry had the concept for this. We
Yeah.
all signed off. I remember that.
And you already knew, like, it was at Mihawk's castle, and, like,
That's crazy.
you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We got another.
We
2.
was drinking. You know.
Another 2 from Mikey D. Luffy. It says, Law versus Sleipnir. The
Sleipnir.
ultimate horse. Hashtag Law no Dilf. Diff. I don't know who Sleipnir is.
It's the horse's name.
Oh, was it?
It's the horse's name is Alice.
Yeah, that's what I was
but it's from the Norse mythology horse named Sleipnir.
Okay.
Sleipnir.
Okay. All right. We got another 2 from Speedy Productions, 54. Love the pod, but who y'all got, Cracker or Jack?
Cracker.
Cracker Jack.
I'll go Cracker. Yeah, I'll go Cracker. Another 5 from Jeremy Lawrence. It says, nice horse. It'd be a shame if someone gave it a right hook. Yeah, they're killing you, bro. This is the most consistent.
It's the shades, man.
It's crazy.
I feel like the shades make me look more evil.
And it's this episode.
You're right. Another 5 from SCDB615. Larry gonna be so tame on his own show. Unhinged Larry in the LWAP chat. Have fun tonight, everyone. Loki stocks flying sky high every week. Hashtag Larry Tax. Yeah, you was wildin'.
Was I?
Yes, bruh.
Nah.
You was wildin'.
Was his live reaction?
Bro,
Nah.
they were doing a stream with Jermaine.
Uh-huh.
And Larry just jumped in. We were both in there. Larry jumped in there and just started asking the wildest questions. But in his defense, they asked us to participate in some random challenge that seemed mad. I don't even have a word to describe it.
Yeah.
But it was wild. Larry was wild enough.
Yo, I think we got another 50.
Did we?
Yeah.
It's not populating on my thing. But
From
I definitely
Christian.
see it. Yo, Christian. Oh my God, it is. Yo, bro.
Yo, Christian, bro. Yo, what the hell?
Bro.
Who is Christian, bro?
I feel like Christian Reeves. We've interacted with them before. We have.
On
They've sent
Discord?
Nah, he's sent super chats before.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yo, this dude's going crazy. Yo, W Christian again.
Yeah, this is
Wow.
wild.
Bro, I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. Yo, everybody, please say thank you to Christian.
150 gifted as
Yo,
well.
150. Like, sheesh.
Jeez,
Thank you, brother. Thank you. He just sent another
No, he
50.
didn't. That's not updated. That's not new.
Yo, it just happened. Like
Alright.
right now.
I'm thinking he might be hacked. Yo, if y'all know
Yo,
Christian,
if y'all
let
know
him
Christian
know somebody
personally,
got his phone, man.
Yo, contact his mom, yo. tell him like, yo, this is crazy. Marv, is it coming out as
This is wild, bro.
Thank you, Christian.
Yeah,
if it's
thank
real,
you.
hopefully that's you.
Yo, just end the stream, yo. This is too much. Christian, too much.
That's-
Christian,
200
behave.
gifted, bro.
This is 200 gifted memberships. Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
I don't even want to interact with 200 people, bro. 200 members is wild, bro.
It's just like, yo, thank you. I don't know what to say. Thank you. Like, this is crazy. 200 gifted memberships in a matter of like less than 25 minutes.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
wild.
Jesus. He said, read his chat, Seb.
I don't know where the chat is. Hold on.
All right, I'll just read.
trying to find-
You find
Do you
it,
have
and
it?
I'll read the funding portion.
All right.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, all right. Yanko725 with the 5 says, just saying, none of these tragic stories were rejected by Mama. We could be looking at another top 5 saddest story. What are your top 5? Oof. Top 5 saddest stories.
There's another one that had their mom reject them. It's just not as.
Baby 5.
Yeah, I was gonna bring her up later, but yeah, Baby 5 got rejected by her mom. She didn't even get named by
Yeah.
her mom, bro. Yeah, I'm not finding this chat. Do you see it?
No, you got to look in regular chat. You're looking in.
Oh,
live
bro,
chat.
I might not find it at all.
You guys got any
Obviously, Kuma's is definitely
up there?
yeah. If it's not, to me, Kuma should be number one right now. Loki could possibly overtake it, but right now Kuma's has to stay number one because it's still to me he's never really gonna get a happy ending. You know, like yeah.
What about you,
For a saddest
Lionel?
backstory?
Yeah.
I'll go back to you.
All right. My bad, bro. We couldn't give you a top 5, but we gave you a top 3. All right. Syntrix with the 5 says, was Zoro basically nerfing himself by not knowing he has Conqueror's Haki? I don't think that's how it would work. You don't nerf yourself. He was just ignorant. The Hunt 101 with the 20 says, hey, Topped. First live I've been a part of, but I have been watching on Apple Podcasts for about 2 years. Y'all are a huge inspiration to me. I started this channel and made a Sanji Conqueror theory. Thanks for all you do. # Best Book Club. Love to hear it.
Thank you.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Keep being creative, man. Love to hear that.
I found Christian's chat.
What'd he say?
Thank you, Red Nations, for adding me for it. It says, member for 1 year. This is my makeup Larry tax for missing episode 200, LOL. But finally about to head home after 2 years. Y'all boys got me through a lot during that time. Peace and love to y'all. # BBC. Thank you.
Okay. BBC is crazy. Also, thank you, man. I'm glad that we could have helped you through trying times, bro.
Yeah.
Seriously, man. Love to hear that our audience always finds us so enjoyable to their lives. It's just, you don't know how to put it into words sometimes. It's just, it's like a weird feeling, but at the same time, it's a very humbling feeling. I don't know how to distinguish sometimes the two. So I can only say how grateful I am to every single one of you. And I know the guys feel the same exact way. It's kind of crazy. So thank you for always tuning in and listening and hearing our nonsense and laughing with us. We hope to continue to keep giving you those same feelings. So, all right. I think we're going to stop with Super Chats for now.
Let me get one more in.
All right.
It's from Keto2261, member for 2 months at Nakma Status. It says, Roy and Christian are the real conch users. Thank you. Truly.
Thank you.
It's either that or they Celestial Dragons. Because the way they throwing money around. Jesus. All right. So, guys, we're going to go back to Super Chats, but we're going to go into this chapter. All right. So, if you haven't already liked the video, please do so. All right, guys, you ready for the chapter?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get it. There's so much reading in this chapter, so bear with me, guys, if you hear me speaking nonstop. All right, today's chapter is titled The Birth of Loki. We return to Yamato's pilgrimage in the cover story, where the caption reads, Daimyo of Ringu, Kiku Nojo, and Boss Ocho. In the panel, Yamato arrives in Ringu and runs towards Kiku with open arms and joyful excitement. Kiku mirrors Yamato's energy, reaching out for a warm embrace. Meanwhile, Yakuza boss Ocho watches them both in silence. So, guys, what are your thoughts on this week's cover story? And we'll start with Seb for the first time.
Skip.
All right. Lawrence.
I ain't got nothing.
Lionel.
Skip.
So, if I could make this any interesting for you guys, I'll try. Kinemon is serving as Momonosuke's loyal retainer in the flower capital. Denjiro has become daimyo of Kibi. Raizo is the daimyo of Udon. Inudashi now leads as the daimyo of Kuri. Nekomamushi is not confirmed to be the new head Yakuza boss, but he looks as if he is because he's with the retired Hyogoro Yakuza boss. Kawamatsu has taken up the role of daimyo of Hakumai. Ashura Doji, Kanjiro, and Izo have sadly passed away. Meanwhile, honorary member Shinobu is busy training Tama. Finally, Kiku has been revealed in the cover story as the daimyo of Ringo, completing the fates of all 9 red scabbards. Most of them have stepped up to become daimyo, each protecting and guiding a different region of Wano. And with that, we've closed the chapter on their whereabouts. They are all solved for. So, where will we go next? I have no idea. Yamato's pilgrimage started at chapter 1109, We are now on chapter 1153. Please, Oda, end this. That's all I gotta say. Let's move on. All right, let's do 5 more super chats and then go back to the story.
We got another 5 from Evan Bridgeford. It said, "Everyone's on time." No, they were not. "It's a great day to get topped. Would y'all rather be one of Ivankov's sweets or have a useless smile fruit on the Beast Pirates?" Useless smile fruit.
100%.
Useless smile fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Another 2 from Sweet. Mouth, katakuri, eyes, Loki, ears, complex. Next. Possibly.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
Speak no evil, hear no evil, see no evil.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, maybe. Another 5 from JM Talbot. It says, "What's more likely, Lionel showing up before Dragon or Law eating a Zoan?" Lionel's here. All right, we got another 10 from Mandy Tells. It says, "Girls say she's into rocks, fortune telling, astrology, Larry Berry. A, she must be an interior decorator. Makes sense. Never change, Larry. Twins, stay away from her. Seb, hi." Hi.
What? So it was because of Istrid. She said she was like a
Yeah.
yeah, and I thought it just made me think like she was an interior designer instead of like a fortune teller. I was like, oh, so you just be moving rocks, telling where it looks best. I was like, all right, yo. She studied interior design.
See, I can't hear the words interior decorator without thinking of the Sopranos scene, but never mind. Another 10 from Don Pacolo. It says, "Do y'all think Lola marrying Loki is a plot hole with so much emphasis on keeping the royal blood pure?"
No.
Well, it didn't end up happening, and I believe Loki wouldn't subscribe to the wishes of the upper leadership to the same degree that Harold would. And we'll get more into it in the chapter, but Harold seems to be trying to change the way that Elbaf is constructing itself and the culture of it. So maybe by the time they got to that point where Loki was possibly going to be married off or married to Lola, they kind of had a different view, or the people that had that forced that view on Harold were out of the picture. So
all right, let's go back to the chap. Yeah. All right, so the chapter opens up with a flashback. Young Harold, Bragi, and Dory, all clad in battle gear, living out their wild and reckless childhood years. Thanks to Harold's immense size, inherited strength from ancient giant blood, and his noble status, he developed an overinflated ego, and no one can stop him from being an absolute royal menace. We then jump to Harold 109 years ago. King Harold is lying down casually picking his nose. He scoffs at how pitiful people outside of Elbaf are because of their small size. With a flick of his finger, he launches a booger into the ocean, killing a fish and creating a massive splash. When he asks his men if they agree, they of course echo his sentiments. Meanwhile, in the Bunt Kingdom, a circus show is underway, featuring a 10 meters tall giant woman named Ida. She's caged and presented as a terrifying spectacle, successfully scaring her onlookers. Watching through his binoculars, Harold is outraged that they dare turn a giant into a cheap sideshow. Harold destroys the Bunt Kingdom and rescues Ida, bringing her on board his ship. On the ship, Ida demands to know who he is. Harold proudly tells her there's no need to thank him. After all, he's the king of Elbaf, and he won't tolerate anyone disrespecting his homeland. Shockingly, Ida smacks him across the face, leaving Harold and his men stunned. Harold holding his cheek in disbelief. Harold then yells at her, asking if she's gone mad. Why would they apologize to these tiny humans? Ida furiously pummels him, explaining that the townspeople actually saved her life when she washed up on their shore. They gave her a job and helped her recover. They treated her with kindness and respect. Jumping right into Harold's face, Ida demands to know what he means by tiny humans. Just because he was born big and strong, does that really make him superior, she says. This is exactly why everyone sees giants in Elbaf as barbaric. Moved and perhaps a bit scared, Harold returns to Bunt Kingdom, reflecting on Ida's words. He watches as Ida helps the townspeople, who warmly welcome her back. Harold's men ask if they should set sail, but Harold snaps at them for standing around and orders them to help rebuild, arguing that the town is so small it should be easy. As they help, The men discover new building styles, spices, and fabrics they've never encountered before. They start enjoying themselves, and Ida hugs one of them for his help. Finally, Ida extends her hand to Harold, inviting him to join in. Though reluctant at first, Harold eventually kneels and sincerely apologizes to the Bunt Kingdom's king, with Ida by his side. Harold begins to understand the people's skills and culture. He starts integrating into the community, and by nightfall, everyone is dancing the Nika dance, celebrating with food and drink. Ida tells Harold that they must learn to see the world from others' perspective, that nothing is meant to be destroyed so carelessly. On their journey to other lands, Ida reveals she's from Samwanai, an island in the South Blue. She crossed the red line and can't return home. Harold invites her to Elbaf, promising that his people aren't as barbaric as the world thinks. Ida realizes she may have misjudged him. As they continue helping other kingdoms, Harold's men watch him and Ida talking alone at sunset. They find it strange, even creepy, to see their king so calm, but they're certain it won't last. So, Law, what did you think about the beginning part of this chapter?
So the beginning part, one, describing how, because I said a similar thing about Loki, right? When I saw how big he was compared to the other giants, I was like, yo, he's just kind of like a big bully, right? Because, like, it wasn't necessarily that you're just better than everyone, you're just naturally born bigger and stronger than everyone, you know? So it made it a little less because, like, you're so dominant, but it was like, of course, like, they're like, the giants there are like up to your, like, your shin or something, you know, or maybe up to like your upper thigh or whatever. But then seeing also, like, to me, like, I know you said a fish, but that's like a shark.
Yeah.
That this dude with the booger just like flinging it with his finger, and it went like a missile in there and killed the shark. I was like, that's crazy. Like, I understand you're giving his natural strength, but that was wild to me. I wasn't expecting that, right? But reading that statement, you know, he was born with this overinflated view of himself because of his natural gifts, what he was born with. His size, his strength, and also now he's king, his royalty, right? And then seeing his behavior, right? It reminded me of, like, this is why you gotta discipline your kids. Like, you know, you gotta teach them and show them what's what and, like, educate them, right? Because when this dude got smacked in the face, the look on he had like this, to me, it was like his first time he ever got smacked by anybody, by anything. He was, like, he couldn't believe it. Like, so shocked. I was like, that's kind of like why, because also that attitude you have automatically without even knowing about humans. Because too, we'll see later on how old he is back then. There probably wasn't people like, you know, like Roger or Rox, right? Them that was going to really challenge him, who was really around as humans wise, right? Nolan would be one, but he's even before King Harold's time, right? So there's not many people that could kind of match his strength. So you have this view of humans this way, like that. But we even see, like, the more he got to know and he understood, like, he kind of grew respect and understand that they're educated and that the way they do things is different, but it's not necessarily bad, right? Mm-hmm. So, but this comes with, like, educating from at birth, or when you're growing up from, like, your father, the previous king. And it kind of reminded me of back when you, because obviously this is from the royal line of, like, Ors's line, right? Mm-hmm. And how you would read about how apparently that Ors and their people would die because how foolish or stupid they were, uneducated, or about the surrounding areas. Like, you went to an island and didn't know it was, like, cold, and you would pass from it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, Harold almost had not that level of, like, stupidity, but that level of uneducation about the world, where you just think, everything here is for my plaything, I could just destroy, right? But it took this woman, Ida, to educate you on this factor, and now you're learning, I could actually learn from these people. So to me, it's like, the fact that, like, I guess your king, whoever, his, Harold's father, whoever it was, and we saw that with other Elbaf warriors, you're not being educated on this, that's a big loss to them. It shows why they view them as barbaric, but also, too, savages and kind of, like, stupid, right? But we see that, and it doesn't mean, like, why is the importance of educating we see now with Elbaf now. But to me, there should be a balance where, all right, you have the younger ones being educated on all this stuff about trading and everything, which is good, but you should have some people who actually want to take up warrior status, because you got to be able to protect yourself. Not everyone there could be, especially in the world they live in, the One Piece, not everyone could be as mild-mannered, not mild-mannered, is how can I put it, as timid or not trained. You have to way to defend yourself in the One Piece world, right? So you should have people like Colin who actually want to defend in case, the Celestial Dragons or whatever want to come up, or other people, whatever, to defend themselves. The ones who don't want to do it, they leave that to them. But either one should be educated, right? But showing that a balance is needed in the One Piece world, right? But yeah, and then because also too, Harold's like the way he was reacting is like he never even thought about it too. When she mentioned about just because you're born this way, bigger, stronger, doesn't make you better, right? Why does that make you better? And yeah, and remembering he's supposed to be like 15 years old, right? Whatever. So he's supposed to be young. So it does make sense. But because he even wrote it, just because I was born huge, that question, like he never even thought about it, right? Understanding you're 15, but it shows like how much he needed to grow as a person, and how she helped him do that, right? And them doing the Nika dance is crazy to show. Like I wonder how much he told this country, the Blunt Kingdom, I guess, about Nika.
You said the Blunt Kingdom?
It's Bunt.
They be smoking?
They might be. I don't know. The Bunt Kingdom, right? My bad, yo.
They be smoking, bro.
But anyway, right? Because the whole part origin, because like we're guessing like where these other countries or other places learned about Nika and his origins, about that, where who was bringing out. It could have started from here, where Harold taught this kingdom the thoughts about Nika and whatever, and it kind of spread, But that's all I really have.
All right, Lionel.
Honestly, I had no time to prepare. So much stuff was going on. I didn't even read the accurate translation. Honestly, I didn't have time. So I don't have much. Honestly, I don't. But I just thought of this kind of just shows when people has natural gifts and abilities, how people just take advantage of it with themselves. We see people in sports who are just naturally built different than other people. So they're naturally talented. So you don't even see them train or work at their own athleticism because they're just born with it. While other people are training their hardest and they're going to reach this certain level. While people I'm just naturally gifted. I could barely have to work out, and I'm already at a certain level already. And we just see we already saw that with with certain people like Kaido, Big Mom, and Odin, and certain people. But this is a more extreme version of it. He has the strength. I don't know about his speed, but he just naturally bigger and stronger than everybody. And like Lauren said, how you view humans, they're puny and they're weak, but you're only 15 or whatever. You haven't really traveled the world like that to see all the strongest humans yet. Granted, the ones we're thinking of, going by the timeline, they're not even fully alive yet, or they're little kids. Kaido, I'm saying not Kaido, he's not alive, but Roger, Rayleigh, Garp, all these ones who would match him, or even probably take him out, they're kids. So he really has no comp. The only people who would be comp would be the Gorosei. And that's he has to go to the world government. And he shows that he's, that's later on though, but he's ignorant about the world government to my knowledge, because I think later on they mentioned he finally has some interaction with the world government, but it's small. But I don't want to jump on ahead. But I thought pretty much thought of that, just his natural build, him taking advantage of it. We see in the real world, or just portraying it in a bigger light. I actually thought, again, certain things I think of when I see this flashback, I think of Odin's voyage, more and more. Obviously, besides him with, her in the boat and with Harold, it's similar with what's her name?
Loki? Toki.
Toki and Odin, they had that moment too, similar. On the boat together, talking, whatever. But I also thought of, it's like a reverse though. You know how in the beginning, Odin was teaching his people not to be that, what's the word? Not prejudice, but for instance, how his people in Wano feared fishmen and they attacked it and thought it was weird, and Odin got mad at his people saying, "Don't attack things that you don't understand."
It wasn't just fishmen; it was the mink too.
Yeah, it was the minks.
The minks. Odin got annoyed for his people attacking things, or you don't understand something, so you're acting this way. Harold is that person now, but it's imagine Odin with all that talent is doing that to the humans. I don't understand humans. I just know they're small and weak. They're not my level, and they're nothing to me.
Yeah.
And now someone had to beat him up. Someone Odin hit his people to set you straight. Now your thinking is wrong. It's flawed. It's not right. And now that changes people's perspective on certain things. I thought that was a nice nod to what Odin's doing with Harold. And like you said, to our, like, even though he's 45 in Giant's age, he's 15 in human years. So it's just like, that's when that smacked that she gave him, you saw his age. That's not his reaction. It's not a grown man who got smacked. It's a young child who got smacked like, what did I do wrong? Because he was ignorant. I don't know what I just did. What did I do wrong? I saved you. Like, I did a good thing. Yeah. But him not fully understanding is like, you think you did good, but you're wrong in your thinking, and your actions are wrong as well. And that's what Harold has come to know. I honestly thought, though, it was going to be later on. I didn't realize that he changed or started changing this early.
Yeah.
To me, I think maybe it makes sense because that stuff that's ingrained in you, like since childhood and your whole culture. Maybe it has to start when you're younger to grasp it better. But again, and I guess goes into his maturity as well. Like, I guess maybe it wouldn't be as impactful for him when he got older, or I don't know. Like it's because like it's just interesting. I really thought like he was gonna be that warrior, or whatever. Then he meets his girl, and because it's the fact that the girl we did thought the woman he meets changes him somehow. Mm-hmm. But to me, I did like it that it wasn't fully just her. She helped him guide him to that point, but he started doing it on his own. Like, because like once she took the first step, helping him change, he's the one who's going out traveling, wanting to get more understanding, more knowledge, more. Like he liked what he was learning and seeing. I want this more now. Like, and that's like you just need the right direction, right step, somebody to guide you in. Then you just take it off to the rest, and that's what Harold was doing. So I thought that aspect was pretty good as well. But again, I don't have a lot. Stuff was kind of funny, but I'm gonna end it here.
All right, Seb.
Yeah, I have a couple things. One, you hate to see it, man. Your man switch up after you start messing with a girl. You know, whole mentality on life change. Switching up like that, you'd have put that thing on him, man. And
okay,
he pivoted. He changed his whole act up. It's crazy. She a butterface, but she got thick lips. You know? She got some lips on her. Apple don't fall far from the tree either, because we gonna talk about Loki later. He fell in love with Lola, and neither Lola nor Ida, how do you say her name, are the most conventionally attractive women. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But trolling aside, Lionel mentioned it. A good woman does steer you in the right direction. If you can insert a good woman into your life, and this is Harold's fairly young, like Lionel said, he's 15 in Elbaf years. A good woman at 15 will definitely change who you are. I'll just put it that way. In general, I felt for him because I've been slapped that hard by a woman before when I was in my younger years as well, and I know I'd be trauma dumping sometimes.
Yo, every day.
But I was flashbacking, bro. I was like,
yo, he wanted to tear up. You saw like Harold was about to start crying, bro.
It's tough, bro.
I remember I got smacked.
Listen,
bro. It was when I was like 16, bro. No, it was 14. And she smacked me in front of her sister, her mom, and her sister's boyfriend. Damn. And it was because she heard a rumor, which was completely false.
Sure it was.
No, it was. It was super false that I happened to kiss another girl. So she believed it, even I said, yo, it's not true, and she smacked me. And I teared up. It hurt so bad. I just walked away. I was like, yo, F this, bro.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, man.
And it was so sudden, too. I did not expect her to do that.
That's not embarrassing. What happened to me, I was in a dorm room. It wasn't...
Oh, so you were a little older
I was like 19, yeah.
Yeah, see, it's bad when you're 19. Now you knew what you was doing.
Listen,
you was definitely being inappropriate.
The stakes were higher.
I could imagine. Yeah, bro.
I'll tell you about it later. It's not for the pod, for real.
Oh,
but
mine was literally in the park. We got out of her mom's car, and everybody's looking at her, yell at me. And I'm just sitting there being like, yo, I promise you, that's not what happened. And she just, what? And I was like...
Wait, the backhand?
Nah.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Nah, she backhanded me. Then yo,
you better not.
Yo, listen, man.
You just walk away.
Backhand is wild,
yeah,
walk away.
Yeah, bro.
Women, don't be out here backhanding your man.
Just don't put your hands on a man.
Yeah.
Lucky I was 15.
Anyway,
14.
I thought
Crazy.
seeing Dorian Broggy super young was really cool. I thought the mom in the background looking all angry and disapproved was funny. Maybe a little foreshadowing for what happens later in the chapter. Maybe not. But I did think when I read that about how the moms are always like the scariest people in Elbaf, apparently. Like this mom is out here. Like, I don't know if you see it. I don't remember if it's Dory or Broggy. I think it's Dory. Has like a knot on his head. Is that from like the fights that they just been doing, or is that from the mom rocking? I don't know. We'll see. I did think the same thing Lawrence thought about King Harold and flicking the booger. I was like, all right, man, if you're doing all that. I thought the Ida, is it Ida or Ida?
Ida.
Ida's the circus attraction thing was really funny. I did, because even when she was doing it, I could tell it wasn't real, because there is a guy here holding his daughter who's freaking out, and he's just like laughing about it. He's enjoying the show. I'm like, that's a circus, like it's probably an act, and typically these are like an act. They're never, at least in these kinds of mediums, they're never like, oh, they're really torturing the circus peoples. Them basically kidnapping her and putting her on the ship. She's like, who are you? I'm like, how do we get all the way here? Like,
The men probably.
Yeah, I was like, this is kind of wild. I had the same reaction as Lionel to the slap. Like, man, it's just, he's mad young. You can tell the age on his face was so telling. But her speech, I thought it was very apt. And that speech alone, like, it basically is the catalyst for the Herald that we hear about, the one that we see later in this chapter and hear the tales, the education and the things that we hear about him later on. The Nika dance stuff, I thought the same thing as Lawrence. Like, is that how it started getting spread a little further out to the world? King Harold bowing. That's a whole other king that you're bowing to. Like, this isn't Fujitora, I'm a representative of the world government, bowing. This, you know what I'm saying? This is, I'm the king of Elbaf, bowing to the king of the Bunt country. Like, that's a big deal. So for Harold to be able to suck it up that early, understand he was wrong and make it right, like, I want to say he's a great man for that. I don't really have too much else. I was trying to think of what tribe this is. Is this the people that Chopper saw? When I first saw them, I thought Skypiea, but are these the people Chopper was with during the time?
It looks more like them.
Like that?
I thought it was at first, but I can't tell.
Okay, yeah.
You would have to look at the tribes people's tattoos and compare them both.
Yeah, I was thinking Shandorians, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, they don't have wings, so I assume they're not.
The people that's from that tribe are usually like big boned people.
Right.
They don't look like that.
They don't look that big. Just that one guy is kind of big, but he's not. They're not that big. And then them dudes like spying on Harold to like, yo, watch out, man. Like, let me get some alone time with my lady, man. You know? Sunset, like, get out of here. Also, I be forgetting how tall he is for real. I know it was a focal point of like the whole beginning of this chapter and even end of last chapter. Bro, he's on his knees right now. He's still like clearly towering over her right now. Like, I'd be forgetting how tall he is. How did that work?
It's not a question we should ask him.
I'm just saying. All right. I'll stop. But that's it for me.
All right. Yo, so it's been a long time coming, right? And I told y'all that Mother Carmel had no way of putting these ideas into King Harold's mind. I always told y'all that it was gonna be because of a woman, right? And I'm just so happy that I just keep taking dubs as Elbaf continues on. All I wanted to say was, I told you so, and this speaks very loudly to who King Harold is going to be shown at the end of his life and what he's been trying to do. And all signs pointed towards it, the same way I told y'all Vegapunk was always a dude, and signs pointed towards that too, right? So I can see how King Harold is portrayed to have too quick of a turnaround in his behavior. Granted, like Lawrence and Lionel have pointed out, you guys said it. It's because of his age. One, he's easily influenced, right? But I think what really set it off was the fact that, one, she hit him, which he's never been hit, like Law said. But two, I think it's really because his men started to change in front of his eyes, and he was the last one to change realistically, right? Like, even though she said, go back, I need to apologize, and it confused him, he went back because it was the smack. But once he got there, he was still like, yo, I don't want to do this. And then she, like, scolded him a little bit more, and then, like, he was like, yo, go help them. And it was like, all right, now this is the third point where it, like, changed completely. His men were experiencing different fabrics, different spices, and different architecture. Something that when he broke buildings, he never thought about. He just broke them. Like, it was just like, yo, I'm just going to do this. That was just his way of doing things. But once he slowed down and started to appreciate it, and she brought that to the forefront, it kind of was like, what else? It sparked a question, right? They say, like, an idea is like a virus, right? And what is it? Inception. Mm-hmm. The idea now in his mind was, what else am I missing out on that I've just been completely ignorant to and destroying, right? And he starts to find out that, like, these are also people that I can feel myself connecting to. Like, they have taught me something that I can't learn on Elbaf. Maybe Ida was right about the barbaric nature of our men. Maybe we are too barbaric. Because if we were too barbaric, we wouldn't have been able, if we left, we would have never been able to experience the joy of these resources that they have. And then you see Ida, she doesn't necessarily tell him, go apologize to the king. She does something kinder. She played like the good cop, bad cop. She smacked him in the face, and then she lets out her hand so he can grab it after witnessing the great things that they've done. And then she goes, you need to apologize to the king for what you did. And even though he's like, what? I'm not doing that. He still does it because what does she do? Like a good woman, she stays by your side, and as he's apologizing, she has a hand on his back. That's beautiful. Like, that's showing, like what Sebastian said, what a good woman could do for your life. And I have more to say at the end about good women in One Piece overall, but having a good woman by your side could help you accomplish things you never could do by yourself. And at the end of the day, that's how it's always been, right? So I was really happy to see that. So she says, I'm from the island of Semwenai, which is in the South Blue. I would love to see the color of her hair. Because if her color of hair is somewhat red or orange, she might be a D-Clan member from the Jaguar family. Because Jaguar D Sol is also from the South Blue. And that might be the island he's from, and it would be so funny because he happened to show up on whose beaches? O'Hara's beach on the shore. And then a little girl found him. She showed up on Bunt Kingdom's beach on shore, hurt. So maybe the Jaguars are just like stupid giants that try to swim, and they just don't know how to swim. So they get caught up and just land on other islands, and you're like, oh my, what is this giant doing here?
They both also called the Elbaf people barbarians or like
savages.
Yeah.
So it'd be very interesting to see what her hair color is. If so, then she might be a D-Clan member, which would make Haruden a D-Clan member too.
Yeah. It says they both ugly, so it checks out. Come on, man.
She's not ugly. She's not ugly, bro.
She's not conventionally attractive.
She just doesn't look as good as Ripley. You know what I'm saying? But she's not ugly.
Listen, I'm not gonna act like she's fine or nothing, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I think it's really about what's inside. You know what I'm saying? Listen, she's proven that she's a woman worth value.
That's true.
And beauty does fade over time. And if you fall in love with a woman that's beautiful and she's terrible inside, then overall your life is gonna suck. She'll tear you down more than you could do by yourself.
I'll say this: that handout picture, that was cute. She was cute in that little.
Yeah, she's a cute girl, bro. She's not ugly. But I really love the fact that she was like calling the serpent of blood the red line. I didn't do research enough to see where the serpent of blood came from, but it's been considered the serpent has been in the many tales.
Dory and Brocky have referred to the red line as such before.
Yes.
At least it's been assumed that when they said the Serpent of Blood, they were referring to the red line.
Yeah.
When they said it. So this isn't this is the second time that it's been referred to it as that, as somebody from Elbaf. So.
Yeah.
Wait, who you think is saying it?
The Serpent of Blood?
Yeah.
Not her, but
I thought Harold.
Harold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it sucks that she couldn't go back home, but it's also like Harold didn't offer to take her back home, which is kind of crazy. Like, you don't want to go? I was kind of shocked that he didn't ask her that. Like, do you want me to take you? He was just like, nah, you're not going anywhere.
You coming to Elbaf?
Yeah, you coming to me.
Well, she did say that she was like stranded at sea and washed up ashore or whatever. So it's like
She probably
has something going on back home that
she
she's
just
trying
didn't
to
say
get away
anything.
from.
Yeah, she just didn't say anything. I really love that panel of King Harold talking to this fascinating woman in the sunset, and even his men are just like completely, flabbergasted at the fact that he's so calm and so curious, and he seems so mature, and like they like, yo, he got riz, like we didn't know he had that. You know what I'm saying? And he does. And it's like, even they think he's going to revert back, but he actually just doesn't. He just stays like this. So it just shows you how much of a benefit Ida happens to be towards this royal menace's life. And I really love that, because even so, it's like they're visiting different islands, and he's like, I don't know if he's doing it by instinct, but he's like, yo, here's a shark. Let me put the shark so you guys can eat. Since we just came here, you're probably scared of us. We don't want you to feel that way. So here's a giant shark that I happen to murk. So he just keeps doing like beautiful things throughout these moments. And it's funny because every time the Nika dance happens to be shown happening, I feel like it's always nighttime. Like Luffy became Joy Boy when there was a moon out, Like when they were partying on Skypiea and the dogs were doing the Nika dance, it was during nighttime. And like we're seeing the Nika dance during the nighttime too on another island. So it's like there has to be something there. I just don't have a theory for it. But I feel like there's always something with the moon and Nika dancing.
When Bonnie and them were doing on Egghead, they were indoors, so we don't know what time it was.
Except for Kuma's dad, because then he just got murked because he did it.
I'm pretty sure it was during the day too.
No,
because
it was during the day. Yeah, but he got murked because it was during the day. You should have did it at nighttime.
That's what
You should have did it at night. He said, "Don't be doing that."
Give me that while the sun is out.
Yo, low-key, that's funny, but it could very well be a real like connection Larry just made.
Yeah.
Like that's why he got clipped.
But I immediately thought to myself, I was like, glad that Mother Caramel theory is done, bro. So happy. I knew it, bro. I knew it. I knew the moment he started building schools and such and ripped out his horns. I was like, no man would go to that extreme by himself. It was definitely because of a woman. So, anyway, yeah, that's really all I got to say for the first part.
All right.
Just by the way, I gave this chapter like a 10 out of 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought this was like one of the best chapters in the whole Elbaf arc, for sure.
Okay.
Probably, if not the best, to me. I think it would be a great anime episode. Even from the start of those 7 to 8 pages, I was like, yo, bro, this is amazing.
I definitely did thought when I was reading this, I want to see how this looks in the end.
Yeah, same. I can't wait for this episode to come out.
The first pages or the last page?
All of it.
I'm trying to see that last page.
All of it.
That's crazy.
All right.
Anyway.
Let's do like 6, 7 super chats.
All right. We got 2 from Mikey D. Luffy. Who wins Kaido versus All Might? I don't know full All Might can do, so
Kaido.
I would have to go Kaido off the strength.
Yeah.
Another 5 from Luis Vlogs. It says, love the podcast, guys. Hot take. Scooby-Doo gang could have figured out Light Yagami. Hashtag bald peace talk. Hashtag goat pod. Hashtag who ate my sweet rolls. Hashtag hoochie season. Yo, I saw somebody, I don't know what page it was. I saw this on IG.
So
somebody was trying to
disrespectful,
explain
bro.
that this was, hell no. Light they'd be done quickly, very quickly, bro. It's up. It's over for them. Y'all know how I feel about Light. There's no chance. No chance. Another 2 from Jada Rude, Osama bin Lionel. Wow.
What?
Wow.
Why?
Because I'm not always here. Or I'm disappearing.
No, because you said it was could be a bomb in there.
Oh.
Another 5 from Syntrex. If Zoro is able to sustain his 9-sword style however long he wanted, can he potentially fight Kaido to extreme diff with Kaido winning, of course?
No.
Assuming that Ashura, every attack would then be an advanced Conqueror's coding attack, extreme diff is still too high for me.
Yeah.
It's too high.
I will still say it's still too early for Zoro to be beating Kaido. Or he'll fight him for a little bit, but he's still going to lose. If you're talking about trying to win or really fight him, Zoro's going to need a little more time.
You gotta get past Lucci pretty easy first.
Yeah.
Well, the buff they gave him here is pretty substantial. It's him being able to use advanced Conqueror's coding however long he wants.
Past Lucci with ease.
Okay.
We be talking.
Another 26 months and Yako status from Project Iceman. It says step 1 on the Law Flamingo cosplay. Lionel is here. This is going to be a top tier chapter, LOL. Awesome seeing you all again for another week of One Piece. Some of your fans are hilarious. That topped W2 laughing emoji.
Yeah,
that was so funny.
That was so funny.
That was so funny.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Another 2 from Franco Cervantes. It says Kaido and Harold connection is starting to seem grim. A little bit.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Another 5 from St. Louis. Law, do the roar. Laugh. What?
The roar.
I don't know what that's referring to. I guess just roar like a lion?
I'm not going to roar. What the heck?
We got another 5 from Raven D. Storm. It says, Larry sent Law to beat up my dogs because I didn't pay my hashtag Larry tax last week. So
okay,
here,
Oh,
crying emoji. And then another 10 from, I don't know what that says, Jaden. It's powered by Jaden. What's up, Top? Wanted to say I appreciate y'all. Love the channel. Been here for 3 months. Let me ask, do y'all think Mosa is a new character or an existing one?
No.
I hope it's a new character. I saw somebody say that it could be Ida, and I was like,
Nah.
I don't know.
Who the person Loki's talking to, right?
Yeah,
Nah.
I don't have any strong hints or
Yeah.
thoughts. I hope it's a new character because that would be the most interesting for me.
Yeah, same.
And then we did get another 10 with no words attached from Daniel Barbara. So thank you. Next time, let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, thank you. And then we'll do this last one and then
Okay.
jump into it.
Another 5 from the FedEx guy. Shout out to the Conquerors. Lionel conquered coming in today. Larry conquered Big Booty Latinas. Seb conquered the Knicks. And Law conquered Wendy's. What? What?
That sounds crazy.
Why my package was late, bruh? You ain't conquered delivery. All right, FedEx guy.
All right, let's continue on. All right. For the next part of the chapter, we arrive at Elbaf 105 years ago. King Harold addresses his people, declaring that he wants to atone for all his past mistakes. The people of Elbaf are confused. Harold explains that he's been traveling outside the country more than usual, but it's all to build alliances with neighboring lands and learn from different cultures. He believes that by embracing the world's knowledge, Elbaf can grow into a stronger and better nation. A giant in the crowd interrupts, pointing out that Dory and Bragi are still causing chaos. Harold reassures them that while Dory and Bragi are dear friends of his, if they ever become a danger to humanity, he'll personally rein them in. Yorul and Yarul laugh, teasing Harold about his worldly adventures. Ida narrates, saying that Harold, no, all of Elbaf, is blessed with incredible fortune. Harold leaves Elbaf once again, visiting different kingdoms and offering them gifts from his homeland. He proposes an exchange of diplomats to deepen their bonds, explaining to his men that real friendships between nations can only form when their people are truly connected. As he shares his dreams and plans, Ida falls asleep beside him. Years pass. 81 years ago, in Fisherman Village on eastern Elbaf, a baby is born. Everyone rushes to congratulate Harold and Ida. Harold is overjoyed, believing that now he and his family can finally rule Elbaf in peace. But soon, his kingdom turns against him. The elders declare that because Ida and their son Haruden are not of royal Elbaf blood, Harold cannot marry her. The royal bloodline must remain pure. Harold apologizes to Ida, devastated, but Ida accepts it calmly. She tells Harold this is simply how their culture works. They can't let emotion override tradition. Giants from all over assure Ida she is welcome in their village. Ida then looks down at Haruden and gently says, as long as you live in the same country as your father, you'll be happy, right, Haruden? Then Elbaf introduces Harold to his true betrothed, a woman named Estrid. Her blood is pure and ancient. Estrid steps forward, introducing herself as a woman born in the brewer's village to the north. She has studied geomancy and is proclaimed worthy of being queen. Estrid places her hand on Harold's neck and tells him it is her destiny to love him for the rest of her life, and that he must forget Ida and their child in the east. Harold is stunned and deeply uncomfortable. Estrid continues, claiming that the spirit is escaping to the east, and that is his good fortune is slipping away. She insists they must close these windows immediately and destroy a mirror she calls a 5-star kill position. Harold is completely bewildered. Estrid's clan then gives Harold an 8-legged horse named Asla, said to bring great fortune. The king's men can't comprehend why the horse has 8 legs. Estrid, never stopping her commands, instructs Harold's men to bring all the jewels and gold in the treasury to her chambers, claiming it will direct the winds and earth's fortune toward the king. She also demands that from now on, she and Harold dine using only fine silverware. As the king's men watch her, they start to wonder, is she truly devoted to Harold, or is she just after the luxuries of royalty? So, Lionel, what did you think about this part of the chat?
I actually don't really have anything here. Because, like I said, because I didn't I didn't have a ton to prepare. Skip me.
All right. We'll go Seb.
All right. I thought that Harold's speech was dope. I thought it was cool to come back and straight up atone. Like, say, hey, I'm sorry for all the things that I used to do when I was a little bratty teenager of Elbaf, and I was a douche doing all the messed up stuff I was doing. It was funny to me is, like, I don't know the politics here exactly of Elbaf, but the king is out here giving a speech, and some random in the crowd is like, yo, but your boys is back out there wild, yo. Like,
that was funny.
That's crazy. Like, yo, I'm giving a speech, bro. I'm over here atoning for my misdeeds, and you're like, your folks is still wilding though.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. But even then, he recognizes they have always been fair to humans. Mm-hmm. So Dorian Bragi seemingly have always had that to their what they do, their mentality. So it wasn't something that Harold had to instill onto them. They had already had that. So it's why they welcomed Luffy and them with open arms. I saw when he was showing the alcohol, I thought that might be the absinthe that they were talking about on Elbaf. Maybe not, but could be. Because it seems as though he's introducing it to the people of that port there. I was very curious as to what he's writing. Because there was a huge focal point of Odin's story, and I was saying we're supposed to get some parallels between Odin and Harold here. They're both from royalty. They both left their nation. They both came back with new hopes and be able to experience other cultures. It was a huge change. Odin didn't change as much as Harold did per se, but they did go and experience the world, and it changed them.
Yeah, because Odin wanted to experience it.
Harold was living his dream.
I'm cool with just being here, bro.
Yeah. Harold's basically living Odin's dream just way earlier than Odin was able to realize it, which is funny to me. Him getting Ida pregnant, and then they have the kid, and then they're immediately like, nah, you can't have that kid. Can't be the royal bloodline, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, who are y'all? Who are y'all? I'm the king. I've been king for years.
Yeah.
Who are these people? What is this council? It had me thinking about the fact that we haven't been to the Heaven's Realm yet.
Yeah.
So maybe these are going to be people that reside up there, that are the old guard of Elbaf.
We talked about it before, how there happens to be this council. We've just never seen them.
Yeah. So,
and even with all this danger going on, nobody has yet stepped down from the Heaven World. So I remember we thought the Heaven Realm might just be completely empty.
Yeah.
And the elders are probably just like the oldest people in each village around Elbaf. So it's like, that's what we actually suspected at one point during one of our episodes.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I on some level, Heaven Realm should be reserved for people who pass, right? Like, but
If you could bury them up there.
If you could go and visit them, like, Harold could be making an impact on the current day. But that's a whole other thought process.
Yeah.
It was cool to see Haruden being born. I will say, he be getting the short end of the stick consistently, man.
Haruden?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even the name of this chapter is like the birth of Loki. And I'm like, yo, Haruden was born too. It's not like the princes are born. Like, it's just Loki. So
It would have been dope if it was like the princes are born.
yeah. I'm like,
but
yo.
I get it.
When I was reading the chapter, I was like, so we just don't care?
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's because Hydru's not viewed as a prince. Because he's not.
He's
part
still
of the-
his daddy's son, man.
Yeah, but he's not part of the royal. They don't view him as part of the royal bloodline.
But then Astrid pops in. And I was like, waifu of the week. Short-lived, but you know what I'm saying? I will get to that later. But I was like, she's looking good. This is more the conventional attractiveness that you see in One Piece that people typically go towards. Her whole shtick of like, yo, F that kid that's over there and that your wife over there.
Crazy.
I'm like, all right, like, she kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. You know what I did think of? Coming to America. Where the girl was like, I'll hop on one foot and all that.
Same. Because the way
like,
she said it. Yeah.
I'm like, I guess, Harold isn't Prince Akeem. Apparently, he's still folded. So, that's kind of crazy. He already had his lease, so he's still folded. Anyway, I thought her whole way of speaking was funny. I thought the 8-legged horse was funny. I'm like, what would an 8-legged horse do? That doesn't seem functional. But maybe I'm tripping. I think you ended about there, right? So I won't get too far.
I ended it. Yeah,
right
I ended
there.
it right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not into like fortune telling too much, so I can't really speak to what she was saying about like, yo, the eastern winds and fortune this way or that way. So I kind of just bypassed that, but I did think it was funny to see her as like a gold digger, kind of be more pronounced there. Although it's possible that she does have true, genuine feelings for Harold, but she's been probably raised her whole life to potentially be his wife. So
I wish we heard her laugh. Because you remember Wapple's wife's laugh?
yeah.
Gold
It was
dig,
gold
dig, 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 dig. Mark, did you ever notice that? Wapple's wife.
You don't remember who Wapple is, man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she did it at the Reverie. She laughed. She was like, gold dig, 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 dig.
And one other thing,
So stupid.
size-wise, she's huge, man. Like she's
That's a huge.
yeah. They talk about ancient blood. She doesn't have the horns, but like
doesn't.
she's very large. She's definitely large. She's towering over these other giants that are here. She would tower over at Ida. Ida. I don't know how to say it.
Ida, bro. Just say
Ida?
Ida. Ida.
Ida. All right, got it.
Yeah.
This horse though, I kind of hope it comes into play somehow. Like I hope I see Harold riding it. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I want to see this horse be a factor.
Yeah.
In some way. But that's really all I got.
All right. Law?
Yeah. So I actually noticed something very interesting. One, I tied this to what I was saying before, because in the first panel when we see it, right, they're back at Elbaf, right? And he's saying, I wish I atoned for all my countless crimes, right? But notice the statement here says, what has gotten into you, Harold, right? So to me, what it shows that they're kind of fine with the way Harold was before. Even though he's like, we just said it before, he got this overinflated view of himself, and then he was viewed as a lowlife, scum, whatever. Like, so he was a complete jerk, right? But Elbaf kind of seemed like they were used to him or they were okay with him being that way. And the reason I bring this up is because, like, remember how I said the ones who complain about Loki is usually the younger generation, right? The older generation, like I mentioned Jarul, right? He kind of defended Loki, and they yelled, "Don't defend Loki," saying that he's trying to be like Nika or whatever, right? So I think it's like, for some reason, the older generation was okay with this behavior, but Hadruden's class, Round and ever them, they don't like it. They hate it. So I thought it was very interesting because now we see all of Harold's generation. They're like, what's gotten into you? Why the change? And it's like, but your boys, Ragi and Nori, are still like kind of like that way. You know, not exactly because they still respect humans, but that, you know, warrior or barbaric way, they're fine with it, right? So I thought that was very interesting, right? And also, too, right, is now we hear we saw that Odin, that Harold, right? His son was born in the fisherman's village in Elbaf, right? And then we hear of his wife, Estrid, right? She's from the brewer's village, right? So it made me think of like how much of Elbaf we haven't got to see yet now, even where we're at, right?
Yeah, we haven't seen any of it.
Exactly. We've seen the castle, and we've seen where practically where Bragi and Dory just be at.
Yeah.
That's about it, right? Mm-hmm. So showing all these different regions, right? Because like now we go into
We went to the Huntsman village. That's
Yeah,
where they
yeah,
have
that's
like the
about-
dog
yeah.
hut and stuff like that. But
Yeah, that's about it. So showing like how big, because obviously it's a village on Elbaf, but usually they're probably like if you
Axe Village too. There was like a village full of axes.
okay,
So was it the Craftsman Village? I think we went to before too.
maybe, but
It was like a panel though.
but we see that I'm not gonna say each village specializes in a certain field or part, whatever, and we see how big Elbaf is. They didn't even give us a number how many villages are on Elbaf.
It has to be
right?
tons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right?
to be tons.
Filled with giants. So then I wonder if they're gonna play later on because it shows how much more of Elbaf we kind of have to explore because we're seeing a little bit back then. All right, what about those villages now
Yeah.
in our current storyline or why they're a factor, right? And I thought the same thing too, that these people came out of nowhere, these four silhouettes of like, nah, you can't telling the king what to do, who he can't marry and who he can marry, right? And Oda's hiding their faces, their figures for whatever reason, right? And they all kind of seemed hunchbacked, which is interesting enough, right? Slim and hunchbacked, right? So, and I thought the same thing where there probably could be on maybe, what was it? On the Heavens era, but mainly I thought it was like you said, they didn't show up with all the chaos that's happening now, right? And also, too, I wonder if they pay a factor in because it was a little thing that kind of seemed like off to me, right? Mm-hmm. If you match what Hadrudin said, right? He kind of seemed like they kind of kicked his mother out, right? And his whole dream was, I wanted to combine, make a world where all, and he kind of reminded us of Luffy, right? All the giants can dwell together because he's kind of, the way he was kind of saying it and the way, or Rodo was kind of explaining it, is that his mom wasn't accepted on Elbaf. But we see that's not true. Mm-hmm. We see that she was accepted. It even says it right here, you're always welcome in our village.
Well, in that village.
Yeah, so you talk about that, right? It could be singled only in this village, right? But that goes into like maybe the fact is what he wasn't accepted is because of the bloodline. But it also could be these silhouette figures here who was like kind of ran her out. Because where is she now? Is she still only on a fisherman's village or she's not in Elbaf at all?
Yeah.
Right?
Is she even still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So that question, I was like, hold on, like I wonder like where do these figures play out and how much they're actually controlling Elbaf in the shadows. Because I thought it was very interesting too, that notice how even when Emu showed up, he makes no mention of these figures. He says, yo, take out Ja Rule and place Dragi and Bori as the kings.
Dory and Bragi.
Yeah, Dory and Bragi as the kings of Elbaf. But what about these figures here? Where are they? Where the ones, even the ones that replaced them? Because like, hey, this is years old. They're either, because they're giants, they're either probably still alive. I wouldn't doubt it. But all of that generation that's still ruling, kind of either way, they could tell, they dictate where the king should marry or not.
Yeah.
You know? Because also, too, now, for example, going into here where Ida is talking about diplomats, right? I kind of thought of also marriages, right? Because that's also how, those kingdoms kind of form alliances, right? Marriage alliances. So I thought of like that, but he took it as hostages, right? To me, that goes into Loki's thing, where to me, it doesn't make sense where, yes, for Big Mom, right? But that's why I always feel like the whole where Loki fell in love with Lola, because also we get now more of Loki's mindset. If he was ripping Hadrudin's mom for not being a giant and not being pureblood, why would he fall for Lola? It doesn't make sense. Who's not a giant at all and doesn't have that any class. If he's this kind of racist against his own giant class, how does Lola factor into where he fell in love with Lola? So I was like, so the reason I say this is like, I kind of believe, because Big Mom's crazy. I kind of believe it was mostly one-sided on Big Mom. She wanted to set them up. Maybe she saw something that could have been like whatever. But from what we see of Loki, unless Oda clarifies it, it doesn't make sense for Loki, how we see of him, to fall for Lola, especially how he views the giant's blood, his royal blood, or whatever, and how he views Darda's Moon to go with a human, especially how you see him talking to Luffy or whatever. He doesn't really have the greatest respect for humans, let alone giants in his own that are not his blood. as in the ancient blood. He views himself as superior. So how does Lola fit into this? Unless it's only one side as Big Mom's case.
I feel you might be right here, but I will say when that little mini flashback where we have that moment, Loki's really young when he says that. Like he could mature over time. He could just be trolling when he says.
True, that is true.
We don't know his true, genuine feings towards Haruden's mom when he's grown.
And that's actually the other thing I want to go into. Like you talk about maturity and growing, because we see this now. How early this started with. Harold, right, there you go. Harold, and where he's trying to make these changes, right? But notice when Saul's alive, like you guys mentioned, he mentions the same exact thing that his maybe ancestor said. The savages of Elbaf. So we notice that there's no real change yet, right? In fact, if you do the timeline, the only change is this generation now. So that change kind of happens kind of around Harold's death. So it could have been like, where someone dies, they become a martyr, where like now you kind of want to push forward with his beliefs. So I kind of feel like what we're seeing here is Oda setting the Harold setting the foundation, but Elbaf doesn't make the changes yet. They're still in their ways. And it wasn't until because after he passes the 13 years ago from our current storyline is where everyone starts viewing him as this renounced king where we got to follow whatever he says. And now the little kids are going by. Because now, if you want to go with Colin, he may not be the oldest one, but it's around like 20 years, right? And we saw that right when he kind of like Harold passes, Colin is kind of just born, right? So that's when they start really instilling that mindset that Harold was trying to preach to the younger generation, kind of around his passing. So, but we saw there was no real change in Elbaf because Saul, right? You still view them as the same, the same as back then, those same savages. So I think this new foundation that Elbaf's trying to set only is for this younger generation. That's where really started putting into it because they're like, we're not changing, and hence why we see, what was it? Those 4 silhouettes, because they haven't changed. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I really had there. Oh, and same with Sebastian with this horse. But I think this horse is gone. I think it's a horse that passes. When Loki is born, because they mentioned a horse passes too with the wife. I think that's the horse that passes when Loki's around.
Yeah, that's
Loki's
a good
born.
point out.
I didn't even repeat that.
Yeah, that's a good point out.
Also, apparently, thank you, Psalm. Apparently, Odin in Norse mythology had 2 wives. Frigg was the goddess of prophecy, and Freya is the goddess of love. So I guess it's a play on that. And then the horse reference is a reference to Odin's 8-legged horse.
Yeah.
So I didn't know none of that. So.
I was about to say it.
Oh, my fault.
No, you good. Now it's just something I don't gotta say. But I will add to the horse factor. The horse, when Odin wrote it, he wrote it to get to other realms. So it falls in line with our boy Harold wanting to cross over into other nations. So maybe there's even like nations on the Elbaf he hasn't visited just yet that he'll visit on the horse, to get them to agree to this newfound idea within the culture. So that would be very interesting. I really love the fact that like he spoke directly to the people and apologized. It makes you think that Loki, when it's all said and done, when he protects Elbaf with Luffy, that he's also going to tell the truth of what happened to their great king. Because at the end of the day, they told everybody had the genuine idea that King Harold was the greatest king Elbaf has ever seen in their history. That says a lot. And I think that's what's going to happen with Loki. He's been kept shut this entire time about the story of what happened at Aura's castle when King Harold passed away. And I think he's going to tell the Elbaf people what happened.
He might. I think it might be, I don't want to say better, but it might come off better if Haruden does it on his behalf. Because is he going to tell the story twice? You know what I mean?
I mean...
Because he's telling it to Haruden now.
I mean, that's true, too. Haruden could probably just tell the story for him and be like, my stupid brother didn't want to do this. But then you have to get into her mindset. Would they even listen to him?
Yeah.
Because he's not of royal blood.
I don't think he's disrespected. I mean, maybe he is straight up disrespected. But I just think they just won't let him be king. I think they still have respect for Haruden in the world.
I mean, he's a new giant pirate warrior. But at the end of the day, he doesn't have the He doesn't have the general factor to be like, yo, listen up.
That's all fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to be that person to be like, yo, listen up. He doesn't have that. Loki does, though, because they all scared him.
And he the prince.
Exactly. I really love the fact that, like, Harold kept giving gifts, because him and Ida were traveling, just doing what they were doing for 4 years together, like every day, and she would sleep by his side while he like wrote into his books. It's like one of the sweetest things you could like she's literally sleeping because she's like it's just conversing, like ideas of how to make Elbaf better. Even though she's not from there, she just loves the fact that culture and Harold are able to experience such things. Like he's just generally just tapping into a realm we've never seen. And like as soon as I saw the pen on paper, I immediately thought of Odin. Like it was literally one for one. And I was like, I love this, because even when Odin would write in his book, Toki would be like nearby. Mm-hmm. And that's how you know you like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just good vibes, bro.
You think those books are in the Biblo library?
Nah.
I don't know. I hope so.
I think they'll be more like in the not the king's quarters, but like
somewhere
maybe
in Aris Castle.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be really nice. I would really like that,
because it's probably the king's personal journal. You know.
So there's like two ideas I want to bring up that's very challenging. One of them is my own belief, and then one is of another belief, right? Which is like the belief of somebody else. And this whole chapter, which makes it a 10 out of 10, is the challenge of belief through multiple people, right? So we've seen King Harold's belief get changed. He believed one thing, met somebody, opened his mind, now he believes something entirely different. And now he's living with that idea, and he enjoys it so much, but then his own people have their own beliefs, which is not the one he has anymore. And yet he's forced to be condemned to live in that belief or to change it over time. But through that process, he has to give up his most prized possession, which is Ida herself. And then, for me, right, this is my belief, I would expect my loved one, right, that I've been sailing with for 4 years and have a kid now with, that has taught me so many things, to say that the Elbaf people and the way they think is wrong. Like, I would want my woman to be with me no matter what, and I would want to service her the best way I can for the rest of my life, right? I just feel like that's point blank, and now we have a kid. And then the belief of Ida is saying to Harold, you can't be mad at them for the way they think. This is something that they've just lived by for thousands of years at this point. This is who the Elbaf people are, and you are the king. And you can't throw this or the people away for the love that we share and the love you'll have with our son, you know? And that's really deep, because not only is she's like a woman full of empathy, and she's also sacrificial. And I have more to say about that at the end of the chapter. I have something like kind of beautiful that I wrote. But when you look at her, you kind of feel sorry, but at the same time, you praise her for her maturity and her sacrifice. And you can tell that, like, it's not easy for such a strong man like Harold to look at her and accept that fact too. And it's like, this goes against something that he's not used to either. He's probably like, yo, what I get, I want, you know, to a degree. And she's like, yeah, but you can't get me and have them. And you have to accept that. And he trusts her so much that he's willing to accept that as is. And that's like in itself pretty emotional too. Mm-hmm. And you can see she's clearly accepted by the people because of how kind-hearted she is. But it also sucks to know that she's willing to even live in Elbaf, knowing that she could never be more to King Harold than what she is right now. Mm-hmm. And she's staying because of their son. And it's like that's super heavy, bro. Like, when you think about it from that aspect, that's really heavy. So then King Harold has to accept that fact, and then he meets this woman. And this woman much prettier, right, than Ida is. But then King Harold is so uncomfortable with her because, one, she's pushy, she's commanding, she's about luxuries. She clearly doesn't have...
She's the opposite of her.
Complete opposite. And she believes in, like, bad fortunes, where Ida's talking about good fortunes, right? And she even gifts Harold, but Harold doesn't even know what to do with this horse. He's like, this is so far beyond what King Harold wants to receive. His ultimate goal in his life is to receive the blessings of Elbaf becoming a better nation, where she's like, yo, instead of adding to that, I'm just going to give you something that's a personal gift. And he's like, what am I going to do with this? This is a hindrance. Do I got to feed this? You know what I'm saying? It's just so funny that, like, it's just so funny. Like, I just think that, like, this chapter was just so damn good.
I got to ask you.
Yeah.
Faced with the same choice that Harold is, are you fighting back against the culture and saying, nah, I'm going to marry Ida, I don't care? Or are you acquiescing and marrying Estrid?
It kind of depends. Because the person I am, I think once you love somebody as deeply as you love, you know, as much as King Harold has loved Ida, I can see myself, like, trying to, I wouldn't say please, but I would probably try to see it from her perspective and make sure that, like, I did right by her. Because ultimately, love is unconditional, right? Like, she's gonna love me unconditionally. Like, that's true love, right? Like, that's what it is. And I feel like it's really hard to give up to somebody that you love. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not easy. So I don't know. I don't know what I would do in this situation because I'm not faced with that. Like, there's people that I love. Would I go against the world for them? Yes, I know that for a fact. But if the person that I love is telling me to accept this fact, will I betray them? Because that's what it is. You're just betraying what they want of you. Like, you're being kind of ungrateful. Mm-hmm. And would she even look at you the same after that? And that's very important to me too. Like, I would always want the woman I love to look at me a certain way.
I have another question, but I do want to see what the twins had to say first before I ask that one. Because this next one is more of a Larry question. So how do y'all feel? Like, if y'all had to face this decision, which decision y'all make?
We'll go pretty much, like, try to change the minds of Elbaf.
Yeah, would you have been like, nah, I'm marrying Ida, I don't care?
Honestly, going off that, I'll probably say yeah. Because, like, it's a woman I love. So, and because I thought of, like, it's different, but Kairos and Rebecca had something similar. Yeah, he wasn't king, but she was a princess. And for her...
Scarlet.
Scarlet, there we go. Scarlet, they're in the same position. Man, it's reversed because she was royalty, but she would have to marry someone. And
she chose to not be in royalty anymore.
Not anymore.
Crashed out and said, I don't care if I have to be killed off. You know what I'm saying? So,
but Kairos didn't ask.
He didn't. The king demanded out of that.
Yeah.
Not even. I think Scarlet demanded that. Like, hey, I'm gonna marry him. I don't care.
But she's also not king.
Yeah.
So it's a huge difference.
Yeah, it is different. But again, I would either say, you guys want to accept this or I'm leaving. Like, pretty much, I would denounce my thought. I don't need it.
Well, you can be quick with it if you. Or
no, 100%. That's me, especially the woman that has my heart like that. Like, when I'm in love with her. Is I don't want to be with anyone else. You can't make me be with anyone else.
Yo, facts.
So it's like, I'm sorry. I'm a one-woman kind of guy. So once I have that woman, it's no one else.
Back that off the mic a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
All right. I respect that from you. I'm switching up. But... But I was going to ask Larry, do you think Harold was cheating? Like, after he got with Estrid, do you think he was making return visits to go pick up Harold?
Ida?
Yeah.
I don't think Ida would allow it.
I don't know, man.
No,
I don't know, man.
If all right, put it this way: if Ida felt that the Elbaf culture included that. Like that cheating was allowed.
I don't think they care at all.
Well,
personally,
I think that there might be, but if it was a part of the culture, then she's going to allow it because she's like, yo, this is how the Elbaf culture is.
Yeah.
But if it's not, then most likely not, because that's not what she wants. And I feel like she's that good-hearted of a woman, or I would say that healthy of a partner, that she would see it as a betrayal to not only Estrid, but to herself as well. And I don't think she would let anybody disrespect her the same way she just smacked Harold in the face in the beginning of this chapter for things that he's done that was disrespectful to other people. Yeah. So it's like, I can see in that sense, no, he wasn't cheating on Ida. But was he cheating on Estrid?
That's what I'm saying.
With somebody else?
That's a whole... Oh, you bringing the Kaido thing back in. Well, technically, based off the timelines here, she seems to be out of the picture by then. Yeah. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah. I really don't doubt that has happened with Estrid, because we haven't reached the next part of the chapter, but even in the beginning, like right as soon as it starts, it says like 70 years ago, and then it goes to 63 years. He traveled with Ida for 4 years, had a kid. Technically, it was like close to like 7 to like 11 years that he was with Estrid, and there was no kid. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So like, it was a much longer time being with a more beautiful woman to have that kid. So he definitely didn't want to have it. I felt like he was pressured by the elders because he needed to have one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you need an heir. Haruden can't be it. It has to be, you have to do something. Like, you have to be married to somebody. And then we'll go back into that part of the chapter.
Yeah. All right, my bad.
No, listen, man, it's really tough. It's really tough to give up the love of your life. Especially when she tells you to. And especially when she's that good of a woman.
Now, knowing you, I thought you were going to be like, yeah, I would have crashed out and said, I don't care what y'all say. I'm 100% marrying this woman. I didn't think you would.
I think I would, for sure. Like, I don't think nobody could tell me what to do once it's me and my woman.
Yeah. I think if I'm king, LOL, bro. I don't care what y'all talking about.
But the thing is, it's like,
I don't care what y'all talking about.
But the thing is, it's like, I can do that to other people, but can I do that to the person I love? Like, if she literally tells me, you can't do this, Larry, and like, it's like, I'll go against the world for her, but then I'll realize she's my world and I can't go against that.
Yeah.
So it's like, damn, I have no choice now. Like, I don't want to say, it's like, I don't cower to her, but she's my weakness, you know? Like, that's, like, she's my strength and my weakness. Like, I'm going to fall to what she thinks.
You think they ever met?
Yeah.
Estrid and Ida?
One point. And Estrid felt so inferior. And she couldn't get it because nobody liked her in Elbaf. But everybody loved Ida. Guarantee it, boy. Guarantee it. Maybe. Telling you right now.
Maybe.
Ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way.
That baby mama love is real, man. Song about
that song.
That song is so good. I don't care. All right, I'm done. I'm done with the love triangle of.
Yeah. All right, let's do like 10 super chats, and then we'll jump right back into the last part of the chapter, and then we'll take phone calls if we have time.
All right. We got 2 from our guy, NYC Anime Nerd. It says, if Loki joins the Straw Hat, is he the second strongest? I think so. Unless Zoro and Sanji have like a major, and more specifically Zoro here, major power-up in Elbaf. From what I expect of Loki, I don't think Zoro's stronger than him right now. So.
I'll agree.
Yeah. Now, by the end of Elbaf, that could be different. I just think right now I got to give it to Loki. Yeah?
I don't think he's joining, so.
It's an if, bro. It's a hypothetical.
Blood brothers, man.
All right, whatever. Another 10 from Wise Life Gaming. It says, if Nika fruit ends up being the stolen fruit from Elbaf, does that explain why it hasn't been awakened for so long? Due to their restricting ways of living / culture. # thighs out. # Law versus King Kong. # Loki is him. It could be. I mean, Harold can't even live the life he want to live. He the opposite of free. As soon as he married Estrid, so if he ate the fruit, he wouldn't be able to be that. You know? So, yeah. Number 5 from Alex Perez. It says, it'd be cool if the final arc Sabo teams up with Luffy, awakens, then conjures a flame construct of Ace's soul to help fight.
We already seen that.
Yeah, we saw it in the Stampede movie.
Yeah. Marv, you watched any of this movies?
I gotta give you. There's only a couple that you should watch.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you guys which ones are the ones I should watch.
I'll give you the list, bro.
Yeah.
Don't watch all.
Yeah, don't watch all of them. There is a list of movies you should watch.
Figured.
Yeah.
I would just say from Strong World and
No, there's 2 before that I would recommend.
Okay.
The Cursed,
The Cursed Sword was Zoro.
Oh, yeah.
and the like haunted movie one where they.
Nah, he shouldn't watch.
He should watch. Marv would like that movie.
Are any of them canon?
No. But,
There's canon aspects.
Yeah. There's canon characters. The stories aren't canon themselves.
What haunted
Gotcha.
movie?
Not haunted. It's like a horror movie. I mean.
It's like a horror movie.
I forgot what it's called,
One
man.
Piece.
Oh my god.
It's a long name. But
Yeah.
it's just as weird as hell. You wouldn't watch it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
No, all right, but what about the? I think to me, I kind of liked it. The what's the Dead End Race? With the candy syrup dude.
That's alright, man. That's pretty.
At its time,
stuff,
man. At its time, it was alright.
It's alright.
Baron Omotsuri.
Yeah, Baron Omatsuri, right? Yeah, there it is. Another Nakama joined the ship in Kryptonite. Welcome. Enjoy all the emojis that come with being a Nakama. Another 5 from some tall guy. It says, when it comes to their next tier list stream, try your best not to include Sabo in the top 25 and make Buggy one above Mihawk. I am a troll.
Oh, yo, it's break week next week. So I need to talk to you guys about, we're doing a top 30 tier list current.
You want us to come to the stream with our 30s, like ready? Or
Nah,
how do you want to do it?
I'll talk to you about it later.
All right, because we've always done
It's
the
gonna be
2K
next
ratings
week.
thing.
I'm thinking about doing it outside. Like,
Okay.
yeah, no time limit.
You don't think it's too early for that? No.
It's half the year, bro.
We typically wait till the end of the year, but I feel you.
We could do every 6 months.
I'm with that. I'm with it. I'm with it.
It's about to be July, like
Yeah,
tomorrow, bro.
That's crazy.
We got another 3 from Ed D. Blunts. It's their first super chat, and it's just like a super chat GIF emoji thing.
Yeah,
With
thank
that
you.
waving lemon. So thank you. Another 2 from Teabag. It says top 30 argument seems repetitive. Why not try 30 through 60?
Okay, bro.
We have new entries this go around though.
What the hell?
There's a lot of new entries that we could probably.
Yeah, there's a lot of entries now.
Yeah. Another 10 from Alex Perez. It says Vegapunk stated that Del Fruits are a separate dimension based on dreams from the previous world. If one awakens their Del Fruit, can they pull into a dimension based on their own Del Fruit, sort of like domain expansion? Maybe I misunderstood
He never said
Vegapunk's words.
He never
but
said it was a
that's
different
not
dimension.
how I got that.
He just said it was a belief system. It was a
Yeah.
desire. There was no dimensions.
Yeah, I didn't see it that way.
Yeah.
Maybe I misremembered.
I mean, it could be interpreted as him saying a different dimension, but it's just clearly a belief system that was formed and became real.
Yeah. Another 5 from Kryptonite. Who throws babies like that? Crazy, and Loki from a baby got god tier durability. Want to see him fight so bad, and his mama top of the list for worst moms. We'll get into that in a little bit, but yeah, that was kind of wild.
We'll do this last super chat.
Yeah, another 2 from Nicholas Cortez. It says, "Yo Marv, are you gonna catch up on the manga now?"
I've been debating because the thing is, I really watch it with my girl a lot, and if I do that, she's gonna feel very left out.
Yeah. You know what you should do, Marv? You should read Marineford. It's different from the anime. It's faster, and you'll see what actually happens to Whitebeard.
I would say, yeah, rereading the arcs you've already seen in the anime.
Yeah, that's good.
That could be a
that
good
might
thing.
be it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would suggest Marineford because you'll be shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be like, oh shit. Oh crap. Also, they have it in color.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Some
Anyway.
of them would not be fully accurate though with the translation.
Yeah.
Don't matter.
Yeah.
Don't matter.
The color Vegas is fire, bro.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's, guys. If you haven't liked the video yet, please like the video. We're gonna get into the final part of the chapter. We're going to read the rest of your super chats, all of them, right after this part of the chapter. Okay? So just please be a little bit more patient. Give us more patience, and thank you so much for sending them. All right. For the final part of the chapter, we jumped to 11 years after Istrid became King Harold's wife. Harold is shown traveling to various kingdoms once again. At a time when the harsh seas made trade between islands difficult, Elbaf's superior navigation skills were the envy of the world. Harold explains to some curious travelers that there's a star in the northern sky that never moves, known as the Pole Star, which helps guide them. Back on Elbaf, Harold shares stories of his journeys with a fascinated crowd. They ask if he really met a mermaid, and he confirms he has, and fishmen too. He mentions that their kingdom just welcomed a newborn prince named Neptune. All the creatures of the sea, not just the mermaids and fishmen, joined together in a grand celebration that spanned the entire sea floor. 7 years later, Estrid finally gives birth to Harold's son. Exhausted and trembling, she asks to see her baby. We see baby Loki for the first time, his eyes wide and different, and Estrid recoils in horror. She calls him grotesque, screaming that he isn't her son. The women assisting her plead for her to stay calm, but Estrid, in a frenzied rage, declares that the kingdom has suffered a stillbirth. The attendants are shocked and horrified as Loki, reaching out for warmth, feels nothing but empty air. Estrid then violently snatches Loki and throws him down into the underworld below the sun world, ordering the women never to speak of it again. The narration solemnly tells us the most unfortunate of all living creatures is the one whose very existence is denied by its own mother at the moment of birth. Estrid gathers as much treasure as she can carry and declares that she's returning home, vowing to never bear another child. The guardsmen, stunned, try to warn her about something that happened in the underworld. Disgusted, she demands to know. We then see a beaten, bloodied, and freezing baby Loki, crying as he climbs the mighty Atom Tree in a desperate attempt to return to the Sun World. In his struggle, he slips and falls, crashing down and accidentally beheading a bear below. After this, we learn that Queen Estrid fell gravely ill. From her sickbed, she orders the guardsmen to get rid of Loki once and for all, referencing an old prophecy that King Harold would one day be murked by his own son. The guard dismisses this as madness. Meanwhile, King Harold sits alone, head in his palm, frustrated that the world government has once again intervened to block his trade routes. He laments why countries can't be free to choose their own paths. Elsewhere, we see Ida happily telling young Haruden that she wants to visit his baby brother. Haruden sharply responds that she isn't his mother and Loki isn't his brother. Ida simply hugs and kisses him, calling him sweet despite his cold words. The narration closes with a chilling line. While King Harold was busy banging his head against the walls of national relations, all the misfortunes that would fall upon Elbaf would come to be known as Loki's curse. The chapter ends with a striking silhouette of a small Loki, wearing a helmet and holding a kanabo in hand, a haunting image of what is to come. So, Lionel, what did you think about this final part of the chat?
I just want to correct myself a little bit before when I said about Roger and them being kids. They weren't even alive during that time.
Yeah, you're talking about.
I thought it was cool, like, mentioning him seeing the fish.
You know, I thought you meant when Harold was much older, because they were kids.
Yeah.
Like 60 years ago. He was still alive. That's what I thought you meant.
Mm-hmm. I mean, no, because, like...
I kind of knew you weren't talking about that during that time.
Yeah. But I was supposed to say, like, if they were around, they would be kids. But saying that they're not around or they're kids, because, like... Roger's, like, Rayleigh is 78 and Roger's 77. It's 70 years right now. So they're kids, like, they're like 7 or 8 years old right now.
Yeah, they're super young.
Yeah, so. But yeah, I was thinking it was pretty dope that he was able to, again, see different. Because now he's understanding the world is a lot more vast and different. That not just humans, there's fishmen. And now I'm seeing, like, you know, pretty much like the multiculture of the world. Like, I don't know if he ever goes to Zoe and sees there's actually even that too. Or he met Zunisha, like a big giant walking elephant. We don't, but like when you see people who heavily are ignorant about the world or traveling, and that's what I kind of wish we got more of, like with Odin and Harold's voyage of seeing the vast world of One Piece. Like, cause it's crazy. The One Piece world is not normal. It's wild and crazy. And you travel the world and you're ignorant. Your mind is blown on what you're learning, what you're seeing, whatever. So like that aspect, we see a little bit of it, which is great. But I wish Oda just elaborated more on, because in our eyes, we're ignorant about the One Piece world. For us seeing it in their eyes with their action, it will add more to the fans, I would say. Like,
It'd be so funny.
Yeah.
King Harold just sees like Tsunushi. He's like, damn,
he's bigger than me. Like, you know what?
He like tries to like wrestle his leg.
Like, this is the first time I'm looking up at someone.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, so but that'd be dope. Like, I know. But now for the Loki part, you know, like so much actually went inside of my head, and again, I haven't fully read it. Like, I read it, but like fully accurate translation, and I'm reading certain things now. But the mother part. No, first let me focus on his eyes. So, when you see his eyes, what do you guys think of?
Snake.
Yeah, I thought of Snake too, and like
Snake eyes.
because actually, there's two things that I was looking at, like kind of like now, pretty much. And if you go to One Piece Wiki and you go to Loki, so they make a reference to his eyes, but not when you see it, but when he's bandaged up. And it says, pretty much, Loki's bandaged eyes may be a reference to the mythical Loki getting his eyes burned by the venom dripping down from the fangs of a serpent during his imprisonment. So again, they focus on that part. But there's actually a thing where snake eyes is an actual thing in Norse mythology in their lore. Like, I was reading different stuff, so like, again, this is all just happening now. So it's kind of like broken up.
Damn, imagine if it was prepared.
I didn't have time. I'm sorry, but like, you want to read this for me? Okay. Like this?
You gotta read it.
No, I gotta
for
read it.
I'm sorry, bro.
All right, so you want me to read the?
I don't know if these are all accurate, but I'll say not this, but I see most of these two. Shut up.
I don't funny.
These two.
Do you know what they say though?
I mean, going to what we've seen and what Oda's building up for Loki. Well, see, that's what I was thinking of. Again, I don't have anything really, because again. If I had more time, I'm sorry, then it could have been something more. I think, but whatever.
No, these are not gonna help with anything. No, it's just different types of like meanings for being a snake in Norse mythology, done in different ways. But it doesn't say necessarily like what it could connect to.
Okay.
It talks about Ouroboros, which is like a symbol of the serpent or dragon eating its own tail, and it's just like. Concept of infinity.
Yeah. That's
something interesting. But I don't think it would talk about what like the eyes of Loki mean, you know?
Yeah.
The only thing else it could be like symbolizing clarity, like unveiling like hidden truths or like an awakening. That's really about it. But yeah.
Okay. So, sorry guys, I didn't have time to do more research on it and look more into it. And that's also not really my other mythologies and lores of other cultures, like, because it gets, when I start reading it, I start feeling weird reading it, like, because it starts getting to weird stuff and gods and weird things that I start reading and I get uncomfortable. That's why it's difficult for me to do these things. But it's interesting, but like, they dabble into stuff that...
Don't let him lie to y'all. He just don't be doing it.
They dabble into stuff that I'm like, should I be looking at this? I don't know. But like, so, but actually, reading this and seeing, what happened to Loki, I thought of a scripture.
Okay.
They don't elaborate on it, but just like, because this is referencing to God himself, how he feels towards like humans. But that, I'm not saying Oda took this, I'm never saying Oda took this part, because this is like more depth. No, it's not more depth, but like, I'm just going to read it. Because it says pretty much, and this is what pretty much we see in the chapter. It says, this is Isaiah 49:15. Could a woman forget a nursing child, or have no compassion for the son of her womb? And it says, even these women forget, I would never forget you. That's God showing that if the women even feel that way, he would never forget his people, his children, his servants, and his. But I just thought of that aspect of it, like. And we hear, unfortunately, we do hear stories, but this is to the extreme. Like, again, no compassion.
Yeah.
She had. When she saw Loki in his eyes, it was pretty much, it died right then and there. That she was willing to kill it.
Yeah.
Just throw it off a mountain. And like, pretty much, I had no thing. Say it passed. I have no child. It was unborn. It's like, so you saw all the scripture how real it is, like in real life and in manga, that it has happened where certain women have no compassion for their kids. Like Lily born baby, like just coming out, that precious thing, you felt nothing for it. And it's a sad thing to hear and see, and like, you know, it's unfortunate, it's a real thing, and it's sad, but like we see it, like, because you see Loki reaching out his hand, like thinking that his mom's gonna grasp him for her love, which is again, and later on we see Harold doing that to his firstborn. Again, it's not a difference to the mother, but like, because the mother's more connection, it's more deep, and like, and it's hard to like see like, for Loki's life, like, was there really anything good coming out from his own people? Like even what Harold said, to me he's like, you were hating Loki since you were a kid. Now you don't even view him as a brother. Granted, I don't know if that ever changed, but like the fact that he wasn't your mom's son, you view him that way, and now like to me, like, we feel bad for Harold, for Loki doing that to Harold.
Hard.
What was it? Yeah. No, Hadjulan, sorry.
Yeah.
We felt bad for Hadjulan that Loki was treating him that way. But already, Hadjulan had a negative view towards Loki in the beginning.
Yeah.
So in a way, they always kind of like had bad blood. Whether who started first, I don't know. And like, for all we know, Loki could have been, yo, that's my brother. Okay. Maybe. I know he says like pretty much a tainted, you know, you're not part of our family, but like, because Loki shows that he's family-oriented to a degree. Like, see, I was born, this is family. This is my home too. But Kim is showing that the people from Elbaf, especially the young generation, even his own mother, are rejecting him constantly. But like it adds more to Loki's character that he keeps getting rejected, but he's still showing that, like, even if he's rejected, he's still with the people of Elbaf. Like, he still fights for them somewhere, even though they're it's misunderstanding on his part, or they don't fully get it, or they think he's causing terror or ruin, but he's also a lot of times saving them or helping them out, whether you don't understand or whether he nods that or not. It's again similar to like with Odin. Loki doesn't explain himself. They think Odin's doing like, you know, with the whole the mountain boar thing. They blame Odin for it, for that whole mess. When he saved you guys, but it's his fault. And it's like probably the same thing happened to Loki. He did something that they misunderstood. They blame him. Oh, he's a rejected. He's a certain child. He's mischief. But a lot of times he could just been helping saving you guys out. But just the way he does it is maybe not the best way, or you guys focus on the negative instead of the actual good he's actually doing. Yeah. And again, it just shows like, but you see that he went through this from birth, and now you kind of see like why this was his home. Where Loki was saying that he was born and raised here, and these animals were his people, because I don't know if he gets back up or when he gets back up, because he's a baby. People have to go in the underworld to search for him. Unless Loki finds the strength somehow to climb back up to his castle. And I'm trying to thinking, this actually might lead to Harold thinking Loki passed, or he didn't have a child.
Bro, did you not finish the chapter?
What? What?
Bruh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that during this moment, Harold's not here.
Yeah, but at the very end of the chapter, you see like an adult Loki, like not adult, but older Loki. With
I'm saying going to Harold's perspective.
Okay.
I'm saying that he doesn't know that.
Lionel's right, though.
You don't know. He doesn't know what just happened to Loki.
Nobody knows that she had a kid. They just know she was pregnant.
And she's saying that don't tell anybody about this.
The fact that Harold's not here.
Yeah.
So we're saying we don't know how long Harold's gone. By the time he gets back,
Loki's back.
Yeah.
And adult enough to be holding a club.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying?
But he's probably still in the underworld.
Exactly.
He climbed the tree.
He fell down. I'm saying that again.
He eventually shows up.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is she tried to hide the fact that she gave birth to the baby.
Yeah.
By throwing it off into the underworld. Loki climbed back up, and who knows what ended up happening to her? But like. He back. And they even said, and all the misfortunes that happened to Elbaf after this moment are attributed to Loki.
But
the Loki curse.
I get you, but they're jumping ahead. For right now, what they're showing right now, when Loki fell, when the mother threw Loki, he's a baby. When he's in this silhouette, he's a kid now. I'm saying that time elapsed. I'm talking about when did Harold find out that his son was born?
Alive.
Yeah, Loki was alive. That's my son in the ground, or did he finally come to the castle? All that stuff we don't know.
Okay.
Did somebody find Loki? That your son went to? Like, we don't know if people told Harold that your baby mama's tripping. She threw Loki. She passed away, and like
baby mama is
Like she's not his
She's the
wife
wife
and
and
queen of Elbaf.
Hey, where she's acting, she don't deserve that title, bro. She don't deserve that title, man.
I don't funny, man.
But you get what I'm saying? Like going by Harold's like his perspective, his timing, whatever. We don't know when he finds out these things, and that's how I was gonna add to like if he thought like his Loki passed and if like took some time. That could be also the reason why he ends up getting with another woman and gets Kaido.
Yeah.
Because he thinks Loki's gone. Then he finds out, no, my son's alive.
Okay.
But he can't bring Kaido here
I think
now.
mostly the fact that the queen kind of passed shortly would be the reason why he got with another woman and had Kaido. Not necessarily
It could be
instead of
both.
Loki.
It could be both.
Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all trying to keep the Kaido thing alive, huh?
Hey, man, it's still he's still
possible.
traveling. He's still traveling overseas, bro. That hasn't changed.
Listen, I'm not saying it's not possible.
But then I'm done.
All right. Law.
Yeah. So I'm actually hyped about this part when we see Harold sitting down and speaking about this because now we're at the timeline where yes, it's not gonna happen yet, but going further into his flashback, right? As we get to the story, we're finally gonna reach the era we want to see. I'm sorry, the era of the greats that we know of, because Neptune's mentioned. We know that Neptune's the same generation as Roger, Rox, Whitebeard, Ray, Gabon, all of them. You know, Garp. So I can't wait to see Hadrudin at sea or whatever, or his interaction with them, because we all seen that Rox, huh? Harold. Yeah, I said Hadrudin. Yeah, that Harold, Rox, and I think Roger, whatever, they all have some type of tie to Elbaf. So I can't wait to see it, that whole era. And I'm happy I don't even remember how to say her name, because she is.
Astrid.
It doesn't matter. She is. It doesn't matter. In all honesty, when I was reading this, I was like, wow, she is the ugliest woman in One Piece that I've ever seen. Like, she's the worst.
Yeah.
Like, the ugliest thing. Because it made me think, for example, right? Especially that moment here when it's bringing out how when he reached out, the Prince of Elbaf grasped for an empty air, but no hands reached out to envelop him, his own, right? To grab your baby. And I thought of where, for example, you ever hear that thing where like a baby could literally pass, like a baby just born could literally pass from not feeling love when it's born, right?
Yeah.
Like a baby like being neglected, right? Or not showing the warmth of a mother, the love of a mother at birth, right? Even though you're feeding it whatever, but because to have that, a baby could pass from that, you know? So when I thought of that, I was like, this is absolutely horrible, because I don't know what she focused on, maybe because the combination of the eyes and the horns, the way it looked crazy, but that's your child. Like, I hear so many people speak out when mothers respect when you don't understand, or even fathers. When it's your kid, it's yours. You don't understand the type of love that you develop for this. I hear this all the time, and her, none of that mattered, because she's all superficial stuff, luxury stuff, how it looks, what she wants, right? Showing that she was kind of selfish from the get, right? Then we see into this child where just because it looked terrifying to her, but it's your baby reaching out to you, right? But you throw it away, you denied it, and then say you practically killed it. Like, your attempt to throw it off was you to take out your own child, right? And then you deny it as like, don't even tell Harold, tell no one, tell I had a stillborn, that no one knows of this baby's existence. And I was like, this is the ugliest thing I've seen in One Piece, right? To give up on your baby like that, right? So I was like, this woman's horrible. Like, and also too, that's what Ty told me when you asked that question, going into like, Harold, you didn't choose to fight for Ida, but you listening to them, but this is what you got, right? It's like you kind of married a nightmare, right? In a woman wise, and it's just like it's just it. And then seeing baby Loki bloody and crying, climbing up that thing. Remember how we felt when we saw Luffy climbing up the thing to save Sanji and Nami?
Sanji and Teeth, Nami on the back.
Exactly, to save their life.
Fingernails.
Bleeding and falling down. I felt more in this situation because it's a baby abandoned by its mother, right? And I was just like, oh my gosh. And it's like crying, crying. And then I even peep it fell down like that.
Yeah.
I didn't peep it either.
I didn't peep it until you said that. And then it was like, it fell down. Because now Luffy slid down, but still held on. It fell down and still had to make the second climb back up. And I was like, oh my gosh. To me, this is where I saw the Conqueror. I was like, this is a conqueror if I ever saw one right now. And Loki so far, because like someone said, the durability, it's not just durability, it's the will. Like the will to survive this and then keep going and then go through it kind of like twice. Yeah. Because you fell. And then hit an animal. And then it's not just any old animal, it's an Elbaf animal in the underworld that you hit against. And then hit the ground too. And then continue surviving. Right? And then I also thought of too, like, I wonder the connection or whatever of or lack of connection between him and his mom, because y'all seen how Loki kind of wraps his eyes. So I'm so curious, is it like a Fujitora thing? Did he take his own eyes? Like literally take them out? Because he like, I don't know what Fujitora did, but their eyes are still there. Did Loki take his eyes out of his socket?
Because that's how his father ripped out his horns?
Yeah. Did he take it out of his socket because the his eyes represented? Yeah. Or,
I think he just hides it out of shame.
Or exactly, does he hide it? Does he hide it out of shame? Because I'm thinking before, if that's, I don't, because the way they responded, like for example, the attendants for Loki, congratulations, Queen. They obviously saw the baby, but they didn't react the way the mother did. Yeah. You know? So it's like, was it because you knew your mother didn't like these eyes? Did you hide that? Even though you know, there's no way you don't know that she did this to you, that she threw you to like forget about you, that you're passing, right? Did Loki, did you still hide your eyes because your mother didn't like them? Is that why you're still doing it? And to me, because also too, the way he speaks to Hadroon about his mom, showing that he kind of gives his mom some type of like credit when she deserves nothing. Yeah. Right? So showing like Loki, even though his mother completely abandoned him and doesn't love him or whatever, it may still seem like he did some things where the way he views his mom, even hiding his eyes, so his mom will accept him. You know? I was like, wow. Like that stood out to me more Loki's character. I don't know yet. We're going to find out later. Yeah. But the fact that he hides his eyes even to this day, then speaks to his mother as if almost as she's good. Because I was not expecting this. The way Loki spoke to his mom and the way he said it, I was not expecting her to be like this at all. Like, that's crazy. I was not thinking to be this upbringing, right? And then not only that, because I don't know how, yes, she fell ill. I don't know how long she lived for. Because the fact that they all blame it on Loki, I wonder how much of her influence actually affected Elbaf. Right? Because she viewed it as like a curse or whatever is terrifying. Right? Now, also be like, I want to know too, because I can say I kind of experienced this. When you're a kid and then everyone kind of views you as this rotten apple, right? This bad, no matter what you do good. No, you're evil, you're bad, or whatever. When you start doing this, after a while, you can be like, you know what? Whatever. You believe me to be this?
Travis?
No. Oh. No. I was like, you believe me this way? I'll be what you want me to be. You know, you want me to be bad. You view no matter what I do good to this. As a young man, as a kid, a child, I can see the trap we're going, falling into that behavior. You view me this anyway. If I did it or didn't do it, so I might as well do it. You know, as a young man, influence or not knowing any better in that way, right? So like, but the blame it all on Loki or everything is crazy. And then also shows like I wonder how much Harold was actually around for this, right? Because I'm thinking the Elbaf he actually comes back to, because also he's still away, right? It says all the misfortune that fall on him. How long are you gone for you to believe this? You know, like how long are you gone where everyone's just blaming your cursed child and you're not there to defend him? We saw one instance when he's a little older, where it's just I love you, the type of the love he's showing now. But I feel like if he was there, he'd be able to set something straight, right? Like, you know, but like shows like that's where like the whole same thing with Odin and Harold fell into. Odin wasn't there to kind of stand for Wano or take his place at Wano, so Wano fell into the hands of Orochi, right? Now it's not just the Elbaf was fine, but now your son is falling in the hands of everything being blamed on him, the worst of it all, right? Some of it could be him, some of it could not be him, you know? But ultimately, you didn't allow him to develop, because also too, when I mentioned before about the importance of discipline and educating your child. The Harold we see now, the Harold and then the Loki we see growing up, if he was there educating Loki, the way what he's learning now, maybe Loki's different. But if you're there doing whatever, he's gonna grow up the same way you were, except worse, because see how, for example, Elbaf accepted Harold? Elbaf's not accepting Loki from birth. They kind of like, why are you so different, Harold? They accepted the way he was as king, but they don't accept Loki as the way he stands now. So that's a big difference there. How do you grow up a whole nation accept you? I'm prince. no one accepts me. You know, so it's like you could fall where Loki kind of like, it's almost like he says this is my Elbaf, and but it's also not really his family or they're kind of like more like enemies, you know. So it shows like does he, and you can kind of see why. I don't know the situation, but where Hadrudin mentioned, you flipped on us before, you know, like when it came down to one side choosing, you chose somewhere else and not Elbaf. But to me, it's like also too, you guys never supported him. You guys never there for me, never helped me, Loki, right? Granted, we don't know the full story, but it makes me think of like what Loki went through and what shaped him into who he is now, right? And then also too, for all we know, the reason why he's trying to become Nika could probably to be accepted. You guys can't refuse me now, because we kind of saw that a little bit with Ace. Mm-hmm. He says the world's gonna accept who I am because I'm gonna become greater than my father, right? You can't deny my existence. You say I shouldn't be born. Ace was like, no, I'm gonna become greater than my father, so you have to acknowledge me. I am Roger's son, and I'm gonna be better. Different with Loki. I'm gonna become Nika, the god that you guys hold the most high. So you guys have to accept me. So it shows to me, I think, how Loki grew into the character he was, and it's just crazy this way.
So he's just Naruto.
No,
the same thing.
No, not at all. Naruto didn't go through this. Naruto didn't go through this.
I want to become Hokage so they could recognize me.
Naruto would have died.
Yo, word. Naruto ain't got the will to be doing what Loki did. Alright.
Larry's like,
oh no, he had Kurama, bro.
Kurama pop out, man. Kurama weak hat. Let me
I think that's all. That's all I had.
Okay, can I say something small real quick? I forgot to say it before.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because adding to what Lawrence said, the whole Luffy thing, him climbing the mountain, and I said those are other references or connections. I was saying that they might be blood brothers, because I also like them. Besides, like, you know, Luffy climbing the mountain with his crew, saving his crew, and he climbed the mountain to go back to his home, his mother or whatever. I thought they also, Loki and Luffy both have in common. They got both thrown towards the mountain by their parent or.
Oh yeah, by Garp.
Luffy got thrown, you know, on a fathom terrain, a ravine by Garp, and got tied to balloon and thrown in the jungle, and had the jungle with the animals. Same thing with Loki with the whole got thrown in a mountain and became cool with animals.
That's different. One was like training, and one's
training, and one's like out of hate and like, you know, no compassion.
I said on the live stream that Estrid was just Hashima, Hahaichi. From Tekken. And like she just threw Loki off to the underworld like Kazuya. And then Kazuya is shown climbing the mountain back up in like Tekken 2. Was it Tekken 2 or Tekken 1? It was Tekken 2, right? Yeah. I was
that's crazy.
I was like, that's so funny. I didn't think a lot of people would get that reference though, but I'm glad Marv does.
Nah, I remember the movie. I know the Tekken movie was shown.
Tekken was so good, man.
Yeah.
And then Kazuya did it to Hahaichi. And like Tekken 3 or something like that, right? Or is it?
In 3, Heihachi did it to Jin.
Yeah.
Oh, Haiji. Oh, yeah. So Kazuya did it at the end of 2.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, he did it to his grandson too?
Yeah. Well, they all do it to each other.
They
all do it to each other.
In part 2, they threw him into a volcano.
It's tradition, man.
Bro. It's bad, bro. Bad family vibes.
That sounds like that's stupid. Where Naruto at? You got to break that cycle of hatred. That's crazy.
All right. Anything else, Law?
No, that's all I have for now.
All right. Yeah, you look like an offensive coordinator, bro. Yo, I was just thinking about. I was looking at you through the screen, and I was like, "Yo, he calling plays."
I got the headset.
You
just missing the clipboard, man.
Yo, I formation. Audible.
You're just missing the clipboard and the hat. I don't know why you usually wear a hat. You had a clipboard and a hat, and that's it.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
like for the Vikings. Like straight up.
Oh man.
Go ahead.
Let me quarterback.
Coach Belichick.
Listen. All right, so much to say. So, apparently, King Harold visited Wano.
Yeah, he did.
It looks like he's talking to some samurais in the naturing area.
You can see the sky and the waves.
The waves, the mountains.
The people he's talking to
have swords on their hips.
Mm-hmm.
So, seemingly he went to, he's been to Wano. He's also been to Fishman Island.
Mm-hmm.
Which housed 2 ancient weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, do we have some ancient weapon connection here in Elbaf? because Poseidon is in Fishman Island. Wano has Pluton.
It looks like those were purposed visits too.
Yeah. So, I mean, he out here writing stuff down. So, I don't know, man. I mean, I've already theorized that it was for the fruit that they were trying to make a deal with Harold. Maybe it was for something regarding the ancient weapons. Maybe you're honest. I don't know. That's a very vague thought process for me right there. But I didn't think it's interesting that Oda would have Harold go to those specific nations at some point in his life. Speak with them, interact with them, and speak to it, like show it this way. I also thought it was interesting that he was there for the birth of King Neptune. And I don't remember if she was...
Very, very ominous.
Right. Yeah. I believe Roger... I don't think Shirahoshi wasn't born.
No, she wasn't born.
They had foretold that she was going to be born.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
That was Arlong's sister, though.
Yeah.
There was no fortune teller before that we know of.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was really interesting. I don't know exactly where it goes with that. I don't know if y'all peeped Panda Man sitting in the crowd, looking on.
Oh, he is.
He's also in a couple panels earlier here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but Panda Man here.
Panda Man sightings.
Getting the lore.
Okay. I thought you forgot
like
about
the
him.
beginning of the podcast, you used to always point him out.
Yeah.
I started falling off on that, bro. I ain't gonna lie, but I'll do better. So Loki's birth and then subsequent tossing by Estrid. It had me thinking, and when you said it, what you were talking about earlier made me think even more about it, like Estrid's mind state when she gave birth to Loki.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to excuse her actions. They were terrible.
Yeah.
I'm not going to excuse it as postpartum. I'm not going to give her any outs. What she did was wrong. She didn't need to do that. But I was thinking, I wonder if she did ever actually meet Ida and have this like real jealousy and stuff towards her.
Why is her box so much better than mine?
Okay.
Come on, man. Because I'm not trying to excuse it. I'm just trying to think where her mind state must have been at for her to be like, okay, the man that I'm in love with, the man that I'm trying to have kids with, that I've been trying to have kids with for years now and been struggling to apparently, he had this kid with this other woman without issue. And then I finally get pregnant. He's not here to see the baby. And I have the baby, and then when I see it, I see a monster instantly. She crashes out over it, tosses the baby across. You know what I mean? Like, and it's wild because, like Lawrence pointed out, none of the other people here seem to be disturbed by Loki at all. To the point where I was like, is this a figment of her imagination that she sees this?
Yeah.
And he doesn't even look like this.
Yeah.
I thought he was cute. I'm not even gonna play it. I thought the eyes were cute. I was like,
Little Gerber baby.
Little
Look at
Gerber baby
hey.
horns. And I was thinking, like, yo, this is wild that she's reacting in this way. I didn't think she would get to the tossing, though. I thought that was absolutely wild. She's talking about it's a stillborn. I'm like, is she really about to abandon the baby?
Too many people falling from Sun World, bro.
Bro, and then just tossed it. Bro, this is like, we talk about infant. I've been alive for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
This isn't like I'm a baby. I just was born. Yeah. Like, just born, same 5-minute span, I get tossed. And then the climb back, bro. Y'all mentioned Luffy. I'll say this right now, and I've said it on the pod before, I believe. Luffy climbing the mountain on Drum Kingdom is my favorite Luffy moment in the entire series. I love it. I watch it every so often just to be like, yo, I can't believe he did that. All the time. It was the moment I knew Luffy was my favorite main character of all time in any anime, any manga, any series. It was when I knew. To see an infant do it,
but at a much
higher, yo, again, like Luffy was climbing after. Okay, I fought some snow bunny, whatever. You know what I'm saying? LaFons or whatever. He wasn't dealing like I'm an infant, bro. I'm a baby. I'm born 2 minutes ago. I landed. Like I didn't land and fall and slide. I fell off, landed, crawling my way back up. I was like, yo, this is absolutely insane, and the panel work is phenomenal. It looks absolutely amazing. I wanted to cry. I didn't cry. I wanted to cry. It hurt me so bad to see that. And like Lawrence said, like she became the ugliest woman in all of One Piece when she did this. Like we just talked about what having a good woman in your life can do. But if you get the wrong woman pregnant, this is the kind of stuff you can go through. And it sucks because Harold's not there. Nobody of note is there to stop it. Only her caretakers during the birthing process here are there. And obviously, what are they going to do? Fight the queen, kill the queen? Like, you can't do that. And who knows if they're even strong enough to do that. So it's like, I kind of want to throw shade at Harold a little bit for this, because you're letting your journey and your dream and the things that you want to do stop you from being the man you're supposed to be. And you're supposed to be there. Like, I know we joke about walk hard. Oh, I'm going to miss some things. I'm going to miss some burps. All right? It's not realistic. I'm going to be there every time you have a baby. But you were there when Ida had the baby. You weren't there when Estrid had the baby. You made the decision. You decided, okay, I'm not going to fight for this. I'm not going to crash out and marry the woman I love. I'm going to acquiesce to the wishes of the culture, but you're not upholding your end of the bargain here. So, obviously it's not his fault. He didn't anticipate this. This is crazy. But if you were there, this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So, he got to eat that a little bit. I agree with almost everything Lawrence was saying about how this has probably impacted Loki in some crazy way, as far as, like, I don't know if he plucked his own eyes out. I don't know if it's okay, I want to make sure my mom can love me and I'm going to cover my eyes out of shame. I don't know that Loki's that kind of character. But at the same time, Katakuri technically does that to protect his family, but it's from a level of protection. If it's just shame, that doesn't scream conqueror to me. You know, if that makes sense? It doesn't.
It's your mom.
So?
What?
It's not necessarily shame.
Hold on, what I'm saying, again, with Katakuri's case, he hides his mouth because he knows what the effect of him being looked at as weaker and what it could have on the rest of the crew, his younger siblings. It's for protection for them. If Loki's like, yo, I'm ashamed of the way I look, just point blank because of my mom's reaction, that's pudding. Not Katakuri. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a different Charlotte sibling.
It's you want your mom to love you.
I understand
it's
that.
not a matter of saying, hey, I'm going to conquer.
I understand that.
Whatever.
I understand that.
No,
So,
it's my mom.
Listen, I don't have the mom issues that Loki has.
This is what I'll be telling you, that you don't know what conquerors is. Bro.
Listen, I'm saying if he's ashamed of his what he looks like himself,
Sebastian.
straight up, I'm not saying he's
he
not
probably
a conqueror.
doesn't care what people think of him, right?
Yeah.
But he cares what his mom thinks.
And Bastion.
Cool.
Bastion, you also gotta think of Bastion. You gotta think
He's a baby!
Bastion.
He's a grown man when we see him.
No, we don't. He's a kid
No.
still.
I'm saying with the bandages on.
Yo!
He's grown.
It's called trauma.
He's grown though.
Trauma.
Bastion, then what's the difference between Ace and Roger?
Thank you.
Because don't know. Ace legit wanted to find the reason. He's a conqueror and everything, we know. But Ace wanted to find out, should I have been born? Everybody's telling him, he should be dead, just like his father. He's trash, all this stuff. He's the worst person. Like, he came from such a young age.
That's fair.
Like, it's literally the same thing, but
What's that dude in the playoffs? Bang! With another.
I'm
telling you, bro.
I'll take that. But
I just want to clarify one thing, right? So one way I read it is you could view it as shame. That's one way to look at it. But to me, I'm not saying that Loki was shaming himself in it. It's more like, for example, if something about you intimidates others people, where you can we talked about connecting with other people, is disallowing you to connect with them. But if all I have to do is cover it, so like, all right, so you're intimidated by this, you don't, whatever. It's like, all right, I'll cover it so we can have this connection in a hope to reach out to them. That's not shame. It's more like consideration, you know. So like, and I don't know why he like bandaged it, said it's more putting on shades or whatever. Maybe that's like what he wanted to do, whatever. But I'm thinking is, I do it as more as like, all right, to connect with other people because people may be intimidated by my fearsome eyes.
Bro just wanted to love his mom and have her love him, and all of a sudden he ain't a conqueror.
I didn't say he's not a conqueror.
That was crazy as hell.
I
What
said
the
being
hell?
ashamed of who you are doesn't scream
He's
conqueror.
a kid.
Even Ace wasn't ashamed. You get what I'm saying?
No, he was pissed off.
Yeah, but that's not shame. That's what I'm saying. It's not
It's
the same
still a
thing.
negative emotion.
That's
You can have emotions. I ain't saying you can't have
Clearly,
emotions.
no, clearly you can't. If you're a conqueror, you just can't have emotions.
No, you're not getting me. You're not getting me.
But no, that's what I'm saying. It cannot be. It's probably not shame. It's more like consideration if this intimidates you. You know, that's what it's like. Now you take away the shame. It's like, no, I'm born with these eyes, whatever. But I see how it affects other people.
Don't ever love your dad, bro. Because if you end up loving him and like he don't love you back, and you start feeling shame or like embarrassment, yo, you're not a conqueror to me, bro. That's what we gonna start living.
Y'all
by
don't
now.
like when I trauma dump, so I won't get into me and my father's relationship. All right. But
He was like, I was rooted.
listen,
Treated
man.
wrong.
Listen, bro. I'm just saying. Beyond that, the panel was fire. I hope Esther died. Honestly,
I mean, she does. She does.
She dies at some point, but I don't. She might live from this because again, if it's to you guys' point, if he is hiding this on her behalf, then she had to have lived long enough for him to interact with her to have that thought process. You know what I'm saying?
No, because remember, they at the beginning, then they said they blamed Loki for his mom's passing at his birth. So
Was it at the birth?
Yeah, something like that.
It's
Yeah.
something at the birth. So it could be like, yo, my mom. I don't know. We'll figure out why he covers his eyes, but I think there's a link between him and his mom. And it's like my mom passed away. Someone could have told him the story. Your mom got shocked by your eyes so much she fell and passed. I don't know. Then he's like, oh,
That's bad. They thought his eyes are cursed that could bring death, so he covers his eyes so he doesn't bring death to people.
these eyes killed my mom. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. I'm curious to see what it is. They talk about the prophecy of him one day killing Harold, and that was the other piece of this that I thought is why like Loki is what he is, because it's not just the mom ends up passing and the other things. He was prophesized to be this child that brought ruin, that could bring Ragnarok, that would bring the death of the king that everybody seems to love. So it's like he gets all of that on top of his looks and his overwhelming strength, and it's not a great look. Harold tussling with the problems of the national relations was interesting to me. I'm wondering if he's already had conversations with Emu at this point, or Gorsei members, or God's Knights, or anything. I don't know. Maybe a reveries popped up at this point already. Who knows? It's a lot of time that lapses here. And then Haruden, I feel like that's the most human thing I've seen anybody do in this chapter. Loki, is for him to be like, he's not your son, so he's not my brother. Like, I thought that was...
So what about your dad?
I thought that was funny, man. I mean, he ain't around for him neither.
Yeah.
King's gonna be kings, I guess, but he out here not raising any kids right now. He switches that up later from a silhouette that we see, a little mini flashback, but he not picking up his end of the bargain here.
So actually, I forgot to mention this in my part real quick. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to.
No, I'm pretty much done. So
I just want to mention the part you mentioned about King Harold stressing over how the world government keeps stopping them. Mm-hmm. I wonder if this was a link to why he starts getting involved with them more, to further Elbaf's riches and trading with other people. I wonder if he tries to I guess I don't say get along, but get to know the world government more to open up relations, and then obviously things go sour because the world government wants to control you. And he's like, oh, this is what they're about. Because obviously he shouldn't know much about the world government at this time because he's been in Elbaf and he was kind of naive to the entire world, right? And naive to the entire world, and then you don't know much about humans. So then that's why he's like, why is it so hard? Why can't they just let people be free and choose them for themselves? So it's like, all right, I got to get to know them to find out how I could trade with these other countries and go, what's going on? Why are you blocking me? Then he starts finding the deeper things of where it was, and then things end up going sour. So I think that's a link there.
I have two more things to say, and I'll pass it to Larry. One, I already mentioned how Harold wasn't picking up his end of the bargain. Did y'all feel that so far in his flashback, Harold's a little underwhelming as a character? Or not?
Yeah.
At least, I want to see the version of him we saw in those pictures. And maybe his son getting tossed out of a realm is going to be what gets him to that point. But I like this Harold. I want to see the version of him that we saw in those pictures.
We get into it.
And then, beyond that, the Polestar thing, I thought, do you think it'll play any role in Nami eventually finding the one, like Raftel? I don't know if maybe I thought too deep when I saw that.
Oh, the navigation thing?
Yeah.
The poster.
I was thinking maybe that'll be a key focal point. Because to me, Oda doesn't do the bolded word this deep. We're too deep into the game for this, for it to mean nothing. And I feel like we might have heard this before. I don't remember.
I looked. I didn't see it.
But for Harold to be mentioning it, for us to be in Elbaf, for us to be this close to the end of the story here, I feel like that'll probably play a role in Nami finding Raftel for Luffy. But that's it for me.
Yeah. It was really, really significant that he went to Wano. That was extremely cool. The fact that the pole star was mentioned on his way to Wano was extremely, I wouldn't even say coincidental. I feel like that's definitely something that's going to be brought up later. It's even more interesting that it seems like the Giants may be using technology from thousands of years ago with their navigation system, because they're using celestial navigation, which is basically they can tell by the stars where things are. So if they're that advanced in their systems, it's kind of like a forgotten knowledge, even in reality, our reality, right? Like this is like technology that's really useful, and it could be anywhere. But it's interesting too, because Lodestar, is Lodestar spelled L-O-A-D or is it spelled L-O-D-E?
L-O-D-E.
Okay, so this is just like a Polestar and Lodestar are basically the same letters, just changed. That's very interesting. Mm-hmm. So it definitely could be like a Nami thing. That's a great point out. So while I was reacting to the chapter, I was like, has he been to Fishman Island? Has he gone to Wano? And then I see like 4 or 5 pages later, oh nah, he went to Fishman Island. He went to Wano. I was so excited because these are the two places I thought would hold the most significance for Elbaf itself. And I wonder when he went there, every time he goes to a kingdom, he speaks to a king. So did he speak to the current king, which was Neptune's dad? And I was really interested in that. And I was wondering which Kozuki that was reigning at the time he spoke to as well.
It would have to have been Odin's grandfather or his grandfather's father.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because Sukiyaki was like 11 maybe at this time. So he probably wasn't king yet. Or the daimyo or whatever. Yeah.
So
Shogun, I mean.
I was wondering if that's when they found out, when the kings met, that they actually have history beyond what they currently know. And the only reason they would possibly know that is because King Harold himself has a lot of history written down in the Owl Library, right? That was even before O'Hara ended up giving some of their books. I think that there's just a lot of information, such as that carving on the, Atom Tree itself, that King Harold might have been interested about now. Before, he probably thought it was just like kids painting. I don't care. But then he probably realized, apparently we're supposed to squad up one day. And I'm not too sure why, but I do have a devil fruit that we've been holding on that I haven't eaten yet. And I wonder if that's going to play a role. So maybe we want to create some alliances amongst each other. And 2 of these countries happen to not be affiliated with the world government at that time. If I believe Fishman Island wasn't ever. So it's like, oh yeah, we should link up. And it's very interesting that like Harold is so excited about saying, yo, I went here, I saw mermaids, I saw this, and guess what? The whole sea floor was dancing. That goes back into like his understanding of Nika and how Nika is supposed to be like this person that, and this is why he even parties as well, So it was very interesting to see that. Now, I told you before in the beginning of the chapter that this whole chapter was about people's belief systems, right? We saw the contrary beliefs between Ida and Estrid. We saw the beliefs of Harold and the culture of Elbaf. We saw all these crazy beliefs. So when I was looking at Estrid on my live reaction, I tried to let everybody know I'm not trying to defend her, but I will give you a sense of clarity as to why she did what she did. And it was something she didn't think was wrong. So there's people that are spiritual, but there's different beliefs in spirituality. Some people believe in religion, or some people believe in spirits of the world and fortune telling, right? And we see in One Piece that it does exist. Fortune telling does exist, right? On multiple kingdoms. So This woman has been brought up in a village where she studied geomancy, and it is literally a way of life for her. She already had this prophecy that King Harold was going to pass away due to a child of his. He has a child with a woman that she necessarily thinks he should just forget about, and forget about the kid as well. She believes because she has this ancient blood and she knows the good fortunes that are gonna soon pass to be through her handling of rocks. She's like, all right, I'm gonna have this kid, gonna be beautiful, you're gonna love me, I'm gonna love you, bang, bang. Everything's gonna be well. That prophecy might not even come through because our son is gonna protect you. Then she has the realization that when the kid is born, that whatever she knows in the Elbaf culture of these eyes, right? She then notices this is the kid that's going to murk Harold. This is the kid that's going to bring whatever devastation is going to soon come. So in her eyes, she birthed the end of Elbaf to a degree. She birthed the end of her husband. So she's like, I have to take action now because in my spiritual mindset, this is what I have to do in order to protect not only me and myself, but everyone to a degree. And she's so upset about it that she doesn't even want to have kids anymore. So I get the fact that like what she did was super evil to a kid that literally has no sin, right? But it's like, I understand why she was so distraught at the same time. Because we may not see the world as she perceives it, but this is the way she perceives the world. It's through her own lens of spirituality. And that's the whole chapter. It's about beliefs. So it's really tough to say like, damn, like Loki happened to receive this and like he didn't deserve it. But like, it's also about the women you marry. You have to make sure that you marry a woman of great belief or like the same belief system as you. And I've called out Olivia a couple times for being like a bad mom because she like just abandoned Robin on Ohara and decided to go after the poneglyphs and try to solve the world's mysteries, you know? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to hold Harold to that same degree because he was so in love with the idea of trade and politics and trying to make Elbaf better that he basically sacrificed his children's childhoods in order to make it happen. Mm-hmm. And I get it. He's a king. Nico Ovia isn't. And yada yada. He has more responsibility towards his people. But to me, your kids are everything too. Mm-hmm. Like, without your kids, the Elbaf people are going to be all right with the next king as long as you instill the values. But these are also going to be...
They're going to be the next kings.
They're going to be the next kings. So it's like you don't want to let too much time pass because time moves so differently for you than it does for everybody else. And I think that's the huge issue with King Harold is that, one, he didn't love Estrid. He loved Ida. Mm-hmm. He was forced to be with Estrid, found out he doesn't even like the person because she doesn't inspire any type of ideals that encourage him to be more of what he's already pursuing. So that's why it takes so long to have a kid with you. He probably didn't even want to do it, and she forced it onto him. So now he has this kid he's not really attached to and doesn't want to be there for, and this is the reason why he's gone. And now he's going through the struggles of national like security because the world government is intervening with his ways of collaborating with kingdoms. And he's like, damn. So now what do I got to do? So he doesn't even know that the kid is born. So he's just out here living life. He's going to come back, wonder where the kid is. She going to be like, yo, he passed away, stillbirth. And then all of a sudden Loki going to show up one day and be like, yo, where's my mom? And then King Harold's probably going to be like, yo, your mom passed away. Like, are you her kid? And then you're going to be like, yeah. And he'd be like, you're my son then. I could tell by, like, your features. And then he's going to feel such shame because of the fact that, like, Loki probably sees Estrid again and she's probably like, yo, those eyes, don't come here. And then she just passes away. Like, on some wrong... hard.
She says those eyes and she just dies.
Yeah.
She goes.
That's why.
We mentioned Dewey Cox before. That's what your eyes does to people.
It kills
them, and then she passes.
Your mother.
So I think that's really what happens. I think that's what happens. That's funny, bro. Your music kills people.
Kills people. Your mother enjoyed it, now she died. The wrong kid. The wrong wife died. No, I'm sorry.
I was saying,
crazy,
you
bro.
said the right wife that. No, I'm playing.
So I will say this: good women always suffer the most in One Piece. From Belmere, who would rather die at the hands of Arlong than deny being the mother of Nami and Nojiko, to Porcus de Rouge, who carried Ace in her womb for 20 months, risking everything just so her child could have a chance to live. From Vinsmoke Sora, who drank a fatal drug to preserve her children's humanity against her husband's cruel ambitions of genetic modification. To Dadan, who was forced to raise 3 children she never asked for, only to lose 2 of them after growing to love them unconditionally. Now we have Ida, the giantess, whose story is still unfolding. She has turned a king into a man, and already she has been shunned by Elbaf for lacking royal blood. She's been denied the right to marry the man she loves. Their child, Haruden, will never be honored. And she left to watch the man who owns her heart marry another woman and start another family right in front of her eyes because of his people's barbaric ways. And yet still finds joy in knowing that her son has a brother and Harold is upholding his country's values by serving another woman. Time and time again, the good women in One Piece are never truly appreciated. Rather than being uplifted for their strength, love, and conviction, they're sacrificed, used as emotional turning points in the journeys of others. They deserve better. They deserve recognition. At least one of them deserves a happy ending where she stays in the story, not just remembered by it. There's nothing more powerful than a good woman who could change the course of your life for the better. Men may rule kingdoms, but with a good woman by your side, we could rule the world. Our ambitions as men become boundless. One Piece makes you want to protect them, and not because they're weak, but because they're worth everything, as you can tell. So there's so many factors into like this amazing chapter that I just loved on like I feel like it hit on all values. And I'll tell you the truth, we've always talked about Kaido, Big Mom, Whitebeard, Odin as children, that they were just freaks of nature, like monsters. This feat by Loki is the best feat we've ever seen in a series at a young age. Mm-hmm. Like, it's way better than any of the Yonkos. It's not.
I don't think anything is even
It's
close.
not. It's by far the strongest thing we've ever seen. And it's crazy because when you think about it, when Loki was training and he was fighting and he was doing this, and that, at that time, I'm thinking like, yo, he beating Snack? Like at that time, he beating Snack?
Hey, man.
Yo, because it's very possible he could beat Snack at that point, bro. Like in a silhouette where he's got the helmet. Because remember...
Oh, I thought you were talking about Infant.
No, not Infant. Like after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I'm thinking Infant.
Yo, where you think he at, though? You think he's like 3rd commander? I don't think so. No. But I think he's close. I think he's close to 3rd commander level at this point. But it's so funny because when you think about it, he thought he was so great and so good and nobody could beat him. Yo, he tried to fight rocks.
Mm-hmm. And got poked up.
And easy dipped. Easy dipped. So when you look at like a feat like this as a newborn baby and compare him to what he's going to be like 20 years later, 40 years later, bro, that's kind of crazy that Rock's like just no-diffed him like easy peasy, bro. And I know this is sounding crazy because you're like, yo, he's a kid, whatever, but we not understanding. This feat of him climbing as a 2-minute-old baby. Yeah. Bro, then he fended for himself.
Yeah, because the monsters should have ate him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
bro.
monsters should have ate
You
him.
think this is when he did Conquerors and knocked them out?
Yo, put it this way. Like, Luffy was fighting animals like this to go Gear 4.
That's
Was
why when
he
you
Gear
said
4
snack,
level?
I was like, yo, as an infant. Like, not when he had the club. I'm
Yeah.
talking about as a baby.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm starting to power scale a little bit, I know, but I'm saying, like, yo, really dissect what we're looking at. If he was fighting animals that are comparable to what Luffy was fighting on that island, at that age,
You say comparable, but those animals at Elbaf should be stronger because they're bigger.
yo, bro,
They're bigger than the ones that Luffy
I'm telling you, bro.
during Gear 4.
That's crazy.
I'm
They're
telling
way
you,
bigger.
bro.
Yo,
I'm telling you,
Yo,
bro.
Larry, I don't want to rush you, but we do only have 10 minutes. I have like
snap.
50
Yeah,
super
yeah.
chats.
I'll say
to
one more
read,
thing,
so do you have
Sebastian.
anything?
Let's go.
Sebastian, remember, and then he eats the fruit, and then Shanks beats him.
Yeah.
So you see, we're talking about Shanks' strength and why we believe that. I'll leave it there.
Oh, I'm telling you, bro.
Shanks beat this man. That's crazy.
Maybe.
Are you
I'm
have more?
finito. I didn't even notice there's 10 minutes left.
Yeah, bro. I'm gonna have to speed run these super chats, y'all. Bear with me. Probably not gonna be able to answer most of these fully. We got 10 from Corindiner. It says, Panda Man is back. Check the panel where Harold addresses all of Elbaf on the right. Also, shout out to Law for being featured in One Piece this week. Nice off-panel feats. Hashtag Law protected baby Loki. Hashtag top on top. Another
They said that he
5.
murked the bear.
Another 5 from Dylan. It says, what's the strongest version of Luffy? Current Kobe beats. Pre-skip something. Another 20 from Daniel Barbara. 9003. Hey guys, love the pod. I was raised by the God's Knights for my Larry tax in the middle of my last super chat. I have a theory that Loki will see Luffy as someone similar to Rocks by the end of Elbaf and join like that. Very possible.
Yeah.
Another 2 from Alex Perez. Law versus Peter when next week. Another 5 from Inferno Knight. What's up, y'all? What would y'all's favorite what if scenarios in One Piece branch timeline?
What if Marco
Sabo
had
equals-
hockey?
He
That's
has
hockey.
hockey.
Sabo equals Zoro. I can't get into what if right now, man. Another 5 from Alia Tusabis. At work, can't listen. Just wanted to say Harold's first wife looks like a Giola victim. Wow. Hashtag Lord of the
terrible.
Coast over Mihawk. Hashtag Larry Tax. Another 2 from Jada Rude. Why are my super chats not popping up as Jada Rude? I don't know. I've been trying to figure this out all day. Another 5 from Dopey. It says, do people keep banging on my door saying, best pay that Larry Tax? I will walk with a limp till this day. Hashtag Larry Tax. Hashtag throbbing for Robin. Thank you. Another 2 months at Knockman status from Keto. It says Roy and Christian are the real Conquerors users. I actually read that earlier. Sorry. Another 2 from Vincent. How big do you think the first people of One Piece are? They're probably not all giants.
Yeah.
Another 2 from That Ain't A. First super chat challenge, 1 minute freestyle. Okay. We got another €5 from Kimpachi. It's just a dancing emoji, so thank you. Another 5 from Justin Holland. Yo, I'm rocking with the Shades Law, and I finally got my over observation hockey up and caught that gifted membership. Still had to come drop my Larry tax though.
Oh, thank you, bro.
Thank Larry.
Another 2 from Smooth Weave. Loki's eyes are giant, trait like horns in size. Maybe. Another 5 from Shrim. Hey Poppies, love the pod. How would you guys personally like the eventual Shanks and Luffy fight to go down? Hashtag give me that topped. I do subscribe to Davey Back Theory. I don't know if you guys do. All right. Another Nakama joined the ship and Doug Missy. Another 5 from Pastor C. It says, would you like it if the Straw Hats left Elbaf and report came out that Cross Guild broke into the impelled down and broke out every inmate including Dofi? I'd be with it. Another 2
Too many times it's been broken
from,
out.
Yeah,
just shut this prison down at that point.
Yeah.
Another 2 months at Nakama status from Kodo. It says Lola can't handle all that emotionally and size.
Okay, bro. Wow.
Another 5 from Jaden Ramos. It says Law got Loki eyes. That's why we aren't allowed to see that. Hashtag Larry Tax. Hashtag like the stream. Another 5 from the FedEx guy. I find it hilarious that Lawrence loved the part when the shark got destroyed by Harold. LOL. Hashtag getting down.
Did I say I love?
Another 5 from Raven D Storm. I said it once, I'll say it again. All your kids need one good age whooping to keep them in check. I needed more than one, I'll say that. Another 2 from Eddie Blunts. The Blunt Kingdom, huh? Now I understand the shades. Number 6 from Sunnet Fam. Hey Nakama, I have a theory on why Luffy, when he's older, looks like Dragon, but like Garp. Nothing like Dragon, but like Garp, because Dragon's genes don't even want to work. Wow. Number 20 from Joseph Bush. First time hitting a live. I'm so glad to be here. You guys are awesome and seriously helped me so much the past few years, so keep killing it. P.S. What would you like to see from Eam to create animosity between him and the crew? I would love for him to clip somebody that we care about.
Clip Nami.
No, not a crewmate. Clip Tashigi. Another 5 from Knight of Shambhala. Google AI confirms Olmecs are known as rubber people. Aztecs inherited their land and monuments. Skypiea and Dragon also have Aztec influence. I would need to fact check you, bro, but sure. Another 5 from Wade the Asian, episode 210. Law wearing different shades, no way. Dofi shades go hard though. Can't wait to watch later. Hope y'all are well. Thank you. Another 2 from Kimpachi. It's been 19 years since I started watching One Piece. It's a long time.
Damn.
Another 20 from Sword D Style. It says, "What's up, y'all? How's it going? Just wanted to say thanks, Larry, for bringing the merch back. I'm loving the hoodie. Anyways, I'm gonna go watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I'll catch up with the stream tomorrow. Stay blessed, lads. Hashtag Spotify gang. Hashtag Whitey Tags.
Hey, stay blessed.
Full Metal Alchemist is great.
Whitey Tags? Come on.
Another 20 from Elijah. It says, what are you guys' thoughts on Luffy getting his fighting style genetically from Garp or Dragon, and Garp potentially having Galaxy Impact Gatling or something? Also, Luffy's body resembles Garp in Boundman and Dragon in Snake Man. I would love to see a Galaxy Impact Gatling gun.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
I'd love for Luffy to start doing that.
Or Bajrang Galaxy.
Oh my god.
Another 5 from Franz Baltazar.
gun.
If you're gonna cheat, make sure they have the same name. That way, if you say it on accident, you good. Also,
We're not giving cheating advice.
Larry, give the quote of the day.
That's wild.
Don't cheat.
Yeah.
Just leave.
Another 5 from Ace Boogie. I'm having One Piece burnout, and I'm not excited for chapters or even other creators' videos. Do you guys have any advice to give me my love back?
Watch something else.
Yeah, man. You don't have to stay. You're out here super chatting and feeling this thing. This is crazy.
Watch something else. Come back.
Yeah. Take a break. We've all taken breaks. Another 10 from Jada Rude. I know a guy with a baddie but got an ugly thing on the side. His name is Harold, and he's a stalker at Walmart. It says Gerald. Harold was a king of the whole giant nation. Not surprised. What else she got to do? Come on, man. Another 2 from Estrid, from Larry's Conscious. Estrid is pro-choice. Indeed.
Oh my god.
Another 2
no, she's
from
not. She murdered a kid.
Hey, man. Another 2 from Andrea. It says, my bad, thought Law was busy fighting the new horse. Terrible. Another 10 from Lotto Boy 21. Also, what's up, y'all? I'm just wondering when we will be getting the twins only mukbang episode.
Yeah.
Also, can you convince three convince Celestial Larry to free us for 24 hours to celebrate Canada Day?
No.
Hashtag BBC, hashtag Larry Text,
not a real
hashtag please
place.
free us. Another 5 from Morningstar. Is that horse I see Lawrence upscale? You know what they say, in the sky, the land, the sea, 1-on-1 versus any animal, bet on Law. Another 2 from St. Louis. I meant do the Doflamingo laugh, Lawrence, LOL.
Can you do it?
Do you remember it?
I don't think I do remember.
All right, another 5 from Smoothie. Does the spirit hockey of strong people flow to the east as nature's way of creating a super strong being that will be the savior of the world, aka Nika? That sounds like Dragon Code, bro. Another 2 from Lotto Boy. Says Seb been stepping his drip up. Okay. Hashtag flowers. Thank you. Everybody said I look like a coach today. Another 4 months at Nakama status from Noah. It says Bajrang Gun versus Galaxy Impact and Divine Departure. Hashtag BBC. Larry, I'll let you answer that.
He's facing both?
I think it's which is the one strongest out of all of them, or versus each. I don't have time, man. Another 2 from Lotto Boy.
Bajrang Gun.
When Marv catches up, when will we get a Marv cam?
Soon.
He said soon. Another 5 from Pastor C. Is it a bit hypocritical? Ida yelled at Harold for giving into stereotypes while she herself was just playing into said stereotypes in the cage. Yes, and I wanted to bring that out, but I forgot about it. Not only did she play it up during the cage, she also called them brutes without ever meeting anybody from Elbaf except this dude. But whatever. Another 8 from Mugiwara Sosa. Stopping in to pay the tax so Law doesn't beat my dog up. Also, thoughts on Ida being Mosa. Hashtag Law versus 100 Gorillas. Hashtag Chopper over Usopp. We talked about it a little bit. It's possible. I mean, who knows? Another 5 from Kyber Corporate. In before the twins start calling Harold Harambe, and then move past it quick like we ain't noticed. Hashtag 20.
Yeah,
hashtag
they be doing that, bro.
Top
Yeah, they
dog.
both did it today. Not the Harambe thing, but the...
Yeah.
Yeah, what I said, I didn't call him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marv, my bad. I might have to go a little over, bro.
He went...
Another 35 Czar from Ratchup. It says, "Sup, y'all? Do y'all think we get Rock's face reveal this arc? Don't lose hope. Our GOAT Usopp still gonna get his power up soon. Hashtag Doflamingo. Hashtag Tops with a cap."
I would love it.
Yeah, I think we do, actually.
Yeah.
I think Harold and Rocks have some history, some way. Another 7 from Figurlin Shampoo. Am I crazy, or is Loki and Naruto have somewhat the same origin story, like born to be hated for something they did not do? Hashtag Law versus 100 Goose. It's geese. Hashtag
Yeah, it's geese, bro.
top the GOAT. Yeah, we mentioned the Loki Naruto similarities a little earlier in the stream. Another 2 from Kirby. Need more of that. Hashtag Love Talk. It's Ida Gang all day. Another 5 from Just Key. Great job, guys. Your content recently helped me get through a long car ride. Between One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, Fatal Fury, and Street Fighter this summer will be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Another 2 from Alex Perez. Oh, yeah, they did do that in Stampede. Whoops. Another 5 from Kyber Corporate. Hashtag Free Loki. Hashtag Law versus 100 windshields. Hashtag Lido versus 100 absent days. Hashtag Birdcage. Another 5 from I'm Dreadhead Luffy. So I guess since everybody trying to upscale Mihawk saying Shanks was immortal, so Buggy has to be top 1, right? Since Mihawk can't cut him. Another 2 from I Am Dreadhead Luffy. So Big Mom or Estrid, who's the better mom? Big Mom.
Big Mom.
Yeah, Big Mom.
Another 2 from JT9693. Queen and Anel versus Jack and Magellan. I can't fix her. Hashtag I can fix her. Terrible.
Jack and Magellan.
Yeah, I'll go Jack and Magellan. Another 4 months of Knock'em Status from Nimbus Jujubee. How are you guys feeling about Elbaf so far? I love it.
Yeah, I like
That's
it.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another 2 from Jada Rude. Oda heard Brenda's got a baby once, then this. Yo, bro. Sadi Bo post the link in the chat to Brenda's Got a Baby, the Tupac song. Yo, if y'all haven't heard it, please watch it. It's Estrid 100% the way. Another 5 from Justin Anderson. The story of Elbaf is kind of like Viking show with Ragnar Lothbrok, and then it's very intriguing, like how Oda is using its key figures with a twist. Yeah, he's going to pull from everywhere he can. Another 5 from NYC Anime Nerd. A 15th century alchemist manuscript, the Aurora Consurgens, features the Ouroboros. It is used with the sun, moon, and Mercury. You're gonna have to send me a link, bro. Another 5 months of Knock'em Status from Swag Stupidity. Estrid said, "What else Loki got better to do?" Yeet! Number 2, Black Ghost. It says Estrid was trying to beat the shot put world record. Shot put. Another 10 from JM Tombo. Calling it now. Luffy will earn Loki's respect by calling his eyes cool, like Cat's mouth, not being bothered by his main insecurity. Hashtag not all cool eyes have powers. Hashtag One Piece isn't Naruto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another 2 from Dope of 309. Unbandaged Loki is going to break the internet. He's going to look pretty cool. Another 10 from Emu Finish. Yo, my class ended early and I got to make it to the live. I know Law wishes he was like Loki murking animals from straight out the womb. Hashtag infant feet scaling. Hashtag Law King of Animals. Hashtag W2. Hashtag volunteer. We got another 2 from Dope. It says hashtag Top, please address the 5 fears of planets. Fear of 5 planets. Bruh. Can't do it right now.
I've never heard of it.
Another 2 from Jada Rude. Conquers have feelings too, Seb. Dang, chill out. I didn't say that. Another 5 from No Poppy. I believe Loki was prophesied to kill his father because of his eyes from a distant relative, like how Shirahoshi was prophesied. Technically, the prophecy was before he was born, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Another 5 from No Poppy. Also, believe Loki had to kill his father to awaken the forbidden fruit on Elbaf. That's why he was prophesied. He was destined to eat the fruit. Maybe. Another 10 from Ian Butler. Do y'all think we're going to meet either one of Harold's wives in the present day story? What role do you think they could play in the story for Loki?
They probably both passed.
Yeah. Otis' track record with moms is pretty bad as far as being alive in the present day. Another 5 from Brendan Miller. Loki rejected by his mom, by his brother, by Zebek, by Lola, wild because she is fugly, by the way, by his country, but accepted by Luffy. That is Nakama status. It's very possible. Another 20 from What the Cow, I think. Says Celestial Dragon Larry now saying toss that baby out for real. Fam, Don Quixote ain't even doing all that. Hashtag Buggy Gang, hashtag monthly allowance tax. Yeah, I did not understand what Larry was saying. At all. Another 5 from Brendan Miller. What up with YouTube using my government name? This is Coach, by the way. What up, Coach? Another 10 from Chris. It says, humor this hypothetical for a second. Loki, Yamato, and Bonnie all officially join the crew and sail the Sunny. Rank those 3 among the Zoro, Jinbei, and Sanji from strongest to weakest right now. Loki 1, Yamato 2, Zoro 3, Sanji 4.
Jinbei 4.
Jinbei 5. Bonnie 6. That's my rank. And then another 2 from Justin Anderson. I have a theory that Luffy has a harpy siren.
Yeah, that's been out there for a while.
Another 5 from Titan 23. Bro, some people are really siding with Loki's mom. Also, they locked up Loki, whereas his mom threw him down straight disrespectful. Oh, they locked Loki where his mom threw him straight down. That's pretty
proud.
All right, guys, thank you so much for all the super chats. You guys were wonderful. Thank you to Seb for reading every single super chat. Thank you to Mar for letting us stay over a bit and also producing another fine episode this week. Guys, you guys are the absolute best. We appreciate you all. Please like the video if you haven't already. We are going to be here next week at 6 p.m. Eastern Time as usual. It'll be a break week. And we might do the top 30, so I'll let you guys know about that. But we'll be going live on a different day than Monday. For that. But the podcast itself will be here next week at 6 p.m. But overall, thank you so much. Like the video if you haven't. My name is Larry.
Lawrence.
Lado.
Sam.
And this is Top Podcast.
Jana.